Chapter 23:11. Combat was a combination of offense and defense. Night Sorrow relied on the space-time realm and the Thousand Worlds defensive body. As for his body, it was the unparalleled virtuous Tao body. The Thousand Worlds defensive body was formed by Night Sorrow's seventh realm. However, it was not fully developed yet. The Thousand Worlds defensive body was different from other absolute arts. Once an absolute art was mastered, it would be completed. However, every additional realm of the Thousand Worlds defensive body had to be carefully constructed so that it would not clash with the previous realm. In the city in the sky, Night Sorrow's 9-domain doppelgangers were no different from the main body except for the fact that they could not have sex. One could even say that only the heavenly concubine could tell that he was a doppelganger. Without sufficient cultivation, one would not be able to tell the difference between the soul of the main body and the doppelganger. Time passed slowly. Night Sorrow's cultivation increased rapidly. However, he was still worried that there was no news of Zhu Jiyun. Night Sorrow also understood that when Zhu Jiyun reappeared, she would be a different person, not only in terms of memory, but also in terms of cultivation. When the reincarnated body awakened, it would have the cultivation experience and memories of the original body. The cultivation realm would still be there. It was only through time that one could cultivate without any bottlenecks. In addition, Yishan had some gains from his investigations. The most outstanding woman in the history of the Demon Wing clan was not the heavenly concubine, but two other people. One was called Demon Jade Concubine, who was the leader of the Demon Wing clan. The other was even more famous, Demon Ancestor. Night Sorrow was shocked to find out that the Devil Ancestor was a woman. He always thought that the Devil Ancestor was a man. Who would have thought that she was a woman? Night Sorrow knew that if it was Mou Fei, it would not be a big problem. She was just a Divine Soul Unity realm expert. However, if it was the Devil Ancestor, it would be a big problem. The Devil Ancestor was the cultivator closest to the Divine Emperor realm in the history of the Devil Wing clan. Standing on the wooden boat and allowing the waves to push it forward, Yishang stood with his hands behind his back as he pondered these questions. He had to ponder because he had to shoulder these questions. Are you confused? The heavenly concubine and Lin Piao landed on the wooden boat. And a little. There are some things that I don't quite understand, Night Sorrow said. Tell me, maybe I'll know. After all, I'm much older than you. Heavenly concubine smiled and sat next to Lin Piao on the soft mattress. What is the situation like when a soul reincarnates? Both in peak condition and on the verge of death. What's the longest duration? Night Sorrow asked. I do know about that. It doesn't matter if the soul is reincarnated in a peak state or in a near-death state. The success of the reincarnation depends on luck. After reincarnating, they won't have any memories, so they're no different from other cultivators. They might be a bit more outstanding, but some cultivators who mature late have average cultivation talent. They don't have any advantages in the early stages, so it's very easy for them to fall. The heavenly concubine explained and then talked about the time. There was no way to control the time. If it was a prepared soul reincarnation, then the time would be shorter and the location could be determined. If it was a soul reincarnation that was on the brink of death, then it was hard to say. The soul power of a high-level cultivator was solidified. Even if it drifted for endless years, it would not be destroyed. No one knew how long it would take, and no one knew where it would end up. And I can't be sure. It's not a big deal to choose one of the two. Night Sorrow turned around and sat down facing the heavenly concubine and Lin Piao. Lin Piao took out some food from the food box and placed it on the table. You're always on the wooden boat and don't go back. Yang Lei even said that she'll give birth to a fat son for you. It's almost impossible for me to have a descendant now. I realized that. Night Sorrow laughed. The higher one's achievement, the harder it was to have a descendant. This was a law. Night Sorrow cultivated to become a functional great emperor. His body was close to the tribulation of 9 emperors. His body was like a crystal, and his inherited genes were too strong. Therefore, it was almost impossible for him to have a descendant. Impossible. We have a lot of time. Not necessarily. Lin Piao shook her head. Is it appropriate for you, husband and wife, to say this in front of a woman who has been single all her life? The heavenly concubine mumbled. What's wrong with that? It's not like you don't know anything. Night Sorrow smiled. Me? Piao Miao. Let me tell you why he doesn't go back to accompany you. It's because this isn't his original body. His clone naturally can't consider having a child with you. The heavenly concubine glared at Night Sorrow and began to reveal the truth. Night Sorrow, you? Lin Piao Miao was stunned. She really didn't know about Night Sorrow's body transformation. Sister Xian, don't blame me. Now that we are in a precarious situation, I have to work hard. My body isn't far from the tribulation of 9 emperors. I plan to make a breakthrough. This way, it will be much easier to kill Black Armored King and the other 4. Also, I won't hide it from you. Zhu Juyun is the reincarnation of one of the 2 experts of the Demon Wing clan. Furthermore, he might have already awakened. If it's Demon Jade Concubine, then it's still better. She's only an expert in the Divine Soul Unity realm. She might even be an invincible expert. This isn't considered scary. If it's the reincarnation of the demon ancestor's soul, then the problem is serious. Night Sorrow opened a wine jar and said, Night Sorrow, your investigation is very thorough. The heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said, It's very likely that it's the demon ancestor. With 2 golden horns on his head, he's the demon emperor. This is the prophecy of the Demon Wing clan, right? Night Sorrow smiled. The heavenly concubine let out a breath and took a big gulp of wine. Let's talk about Zhu Juyun. Actually, I've already betrayed the Demon Wing clan. I shouldn't call it betrayal. I made a choice. I've chosen to live as a person of the 9-domain world. Then, I'll tell you more details. Following which, the heavenly concubine explained a reason why she discovered Zhu Juyun's problem. Mo Tianji had possessed Zhu Juyun's doppelganger once. However, because the doppelganger didn't have any bloodline genes, she didn't discover anything. She only felt that the 2 golden horns on his head were a prophecy. However, this time, when she saw Zhu Juyun at the ancient world's spatial passageway, the heavenly concubine felt the same bloodline. It could even be said that there was a suppressive force. It's naturally easy to analyze if the bloodline is the same. She's from the Demon Wing clan. However, there's a suppressive force on me. That's where the problem arises. In the history of the Demon Wing clan, there are only 2 women who have greater achievements than me. One of them is stronger than me. However, it's impossible for her to suppress me. She's the Demon Jade concubine that you guys are talking about. There's only one person who can suppress me. That person is the demon ancestor who failed the god destroying tribulation, but is infinitely close to the divine emperor realm. The heavenly concubine confirmed Night Sorrow's analysis. It's good that it's confirmed. All that's left is to work hard. Night Sorrow nodded. I'll send people to continue digging her out. Lin Piao Miao's expression was very serious because this was a crisis for Night Sorrow. There's no need to dig her out. When she and Jun Xuanji arrived at the ancient world's spatial passageway, the 2 of us met. When I was suspicious, she left. The 2 of us know what happened. Do you think you'll still dig her out? The heavenly concubine shook her head. ESD unspecified currency /. That means she's already awakened? Night Sorrow was stunned. Chapter 23:12. According to your deduction, she has already awakened for some time, but no one knows about it. Ha! Night Sorrow smiled bitterly, because this meant that Zhu Juyun had already made her choice. Don't think too much. The Devil Ancestor's original body is very powerful, and her reincarnation was awakened without being affected. Naturally, the will of the original body is the main body. In fact, the reincarnation is just a doppelganger. It's just that her cultivation is not enough. The heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said, We were once friends who went through life and death together, but when we meet again, we have to fight. I really don't want that. Night Sorrow sighed. This is something that can't be helped. It's fate. It's not that you want to give up on your friendship. It's that she gave up on your friendship after awakening. The heavenly concubine saw the reason for Night Sorrow's sadness. We have different standpoints, so there's nothing to talk about. What's Zhu Jiyun's cultivation? Lin Piaomiao looked at the heavenly concubine and asked. I can't tell. She should have cultivated some secret technique. The Devil Ancestor's foundation is very deep. I don't know what kind of secret technique she has, but judging from her aura, she should be at the early stage of the Emperor Tribulation. The heavenly concubine thought for a while and estimated Zhu Jiyun's strength. The Devil Ancestor's awakening is inevitable, but it will take some time. This is my chance to improve. Also, the situation of the 100 races in the celestial realm is no longer a secret. Night Sorrow drank a mouthful of wine and said, Yes, she knows the situation of the 100 races in the celestial realm very well. She might not know about you recently, but she also knows about your past. The heavenly concubine nodded. Night Sorrow thought for a while and felt that Zhu Jiyun should know about his situation before she went to the spatial passage with Jun Xuanji. After seeing the heavenly concubine, she would not move around in the celestial realm for fear of being exposed. She was not clear about his recent battle strength. I have to speed up. Once my body and cultivation reach the 9 Emperor Tribulation level, I will attack and end the war before the Devil Ancestor awakens. Night Sorrow made a decision. At this time, in front of the Devil Ancestor's palace in the Devil Imperial City, Mo Yuqing reported the situation to Mo Zhantian. What did you say? That woman has a pair of golden horns on her head, and her bloodline is suppressing you to the point that you can't even think about fighting? Mo Zhantian looked at Dark Feather with some surprise. Yes, she asked me to send a message back. She said that the Devil Imperial City is no longer stable, and the body of the Devil Ancestor must be moved. She said that there's an alternate dimension below the sacrificial tower, and the body of the Devil Ancestor must be moved into that alternate dimension to await his awakening. This news can only be relayed to the Divine Ancestor. Dark Feather replied. Mo Zhantian paced back and forth, the expression on his face constantly changing. He then looked at Dark Feather and issued an order, completely following the instructions of this woman. Those with golden horns are the Demon Emperor. Is she from our Demon Wing clan? Dark Feather asked. That's right. He might be the reincarnation of Lord Devil Ancestor's soul. Otherwise, he wouldn't know the current situation of Lord Devil Ancestor's true body. Furthermore, with the suppression of the bloodline, it's impossible for the other races to keep the secret and pass on the information. Mo Zhantian did not hide anything from Dark Feather. Look at Section T of the V/K version. G-Feather understands. That lady, that is Lord Devil Ancestor, said that the Merit Great Emperor of the 100 races of the celestial realm has emerged, and the fire of merit of the Great Emperor level is indestructible. The defense of the Devil Imperial City may not necessarily be unbreakable, so there must be a backup plan. Dark Feather explained. Ask Lord Devil Ancestor if there are any other instructions after placing her body in the alternate dimension. Mo Zhantian said to Dark Feather. With the connection between Dark Feather's true body and avatar, Zhu Jiyun made some arrangements, made some plans for retreat, and made plans for the Devil Imperial City after it was breached. Zhu Jiyun had the memories of her true body and knew some legends about the Merit Great Emperor. She was worried that the Devil Imperial City would not be able to withstand the attack of Night Sorrow. So she arranged for the Demon Wing clan to hide her body and wait for her to awaken. In addition, except for the main combat personnel, all of them retreated to Heaven Wasteland Domain and to the subsidiary domains of Heaven Wasteland Domain. Zhu Jiyun also instructed Mo Zhantian to forge a halberd. The great desolate halberd used by Zhu Jiyun had been refined by Night Sorrow into the Samsara halberd. She no longer had a suitable weapon. If she met Night Sorrow again, it would be a life and death battle, and there would be no possibility of taking back her weapon. Originally, Zhu Jiyun should have said that Demon Nine Clouds left the ancient world through the space passage and planned to return to the Nine Domains world to hide, but she felt that this would not work. She was worried that the heavenly concubine would leak the news, and then she would be isolated from the Nine Domains world and would have no contact with her true body. The awakening of her true body was more troublesome. In terms of battle prowess, Mo Jiyun felt that Yi Shang was invincible in the nine-domain world as long as his true body did not awaken. She was no match for him either, so she could not take the risk. After making the arrangements, Demon Nine Clouds planned to cultivate in seclusion. Over the years, she had paid attention to collecting resources. She had obtained a lot from Jun Xuanji and the God-slaying team, and it was enough for her to use for now. Reporting to my lord, Divine Ancestor Zhan Tian has already followed your instructions. Do you have any other orders? Mo Yuqing bowed to Demon Nine Clouds and said, set up the teleportation formation. We are ready to return at any time. Also, the Heaven Wasteland army is on a rampage. Think of a way to control a Heaven Wasteland soldier and see if you can mix in with the Heaven Wasteland army. This way, we can have an extra route without activating the teleportation formation, Demon Nine Clouds ordered. After sending away the Demon Winged race, Demon Nine Clouds looked at the sky with his hands behind his back. Send someone to find me. Night Sorrow, it seems that you already know that some things are destined. There will be a battle to the death between us. If you die in battle, I will erect a monument for you. Demon Nine Clouds was different from Jun Xuanji. When she awakened, she was not disturbed and her soul was not sealed. Therefore, after awakening, her true body and awakened body were united. She was different from Jun Xuanji, who had awakened body's thoughts. Jun Xuanji, Mo Tianji, Demon Nine Clouds, shook her head. Her will was as strong as steel. She did not say anything about the heavenly concubine's choice, nor did she contact them. She was even avoiding them. Everyone had their own ambitions. Demon Nine Clouds knew this very well. Night Sorrow knew about Demon Nine Clouds. He was under a lot of pressure and was naturally motivated. Night Sorrow knew that he was now strong enough to deal with the Black Armor King and the others. At most, it would take some effort. The Black Armor King and the others could not overthrow the rule of the Celestial Realm. However, the Demon Ancestor was different. When the Demon Ancestor awakened, he would be a half-step Divine Emperor. He had the strength to wipe out the experts of the Celestial Realm. Not to mention other things, just one person's continuous assassination would exhaust the strength of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. Then, the Celestial Realm would change and become the demon-winged race's sky. While Night Sorrow was thinking, the Qing Emperor came and told Night Sorrow that Tran Hung had arrived at Xingyue City. Night Sorrow asked the Qing Emperor to invite Tran Hung to Jiyu City. He invited Tran Hung into the City Lord's mansion. The City Lord must be here for Zhu Jiyan, right? Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. Chapter 23:13. It's very serious. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything from Tran Hung. He told her everything he knew and predicted. The situation is indeed very complicated. The Demon Wing clan is too powerful. 2 of them have successfully reincarnated. The 100 clans of the Celestial Realm can't do that. Tran Hung shook her head. Not really. The original owner of the Wasteland Tower, Shura Empress Yi Tianxin, hasn't completely died. I don't know what's going on. If she's successfully reincarnated, she should have returned. It's the end of the world, a great era, Night Sorrow said. We can't count on that. After all, it's too illusory. Let's follow your plan. Before the Demon Ancestor awakens, we should destroy the Demon Imperial City and their foundation. Then, we can talk about other things. Even if we lose temporarily, the 100 clans can rise in the future and defeat the Demon Wing clan without the unbreakable fortress, Tran Hung said. I understand. Zhu Jiyun is now in the Elementary Emperor Tribulation. She still needs time. I'll definitely be faster than her. Also, it's impossible to kill her before she awakens. Zhu Jiyun used to be the leader of the Nether Realm around the 9 regions world. She has a strong sense of strategy. She'll have prepared some backup plans. After all, the Demon Wing clan has spies in the Celestial Realm. They're well informed. I think they've already made some backup plans, Night Sorrow said. You mean, we can't avoid a direct battle with the awakened Demon Ancestor? Tran Hung looked at Night Sorrow seriously. This was a great crisis. No one knew how powerful a half-step Divine Emperor was. In the last reincarnation, when the demon ancestor fought, she was in a state of tribulation. She didn't have any battle power after she died. We can't avoid it. We have to fight to the death. Only then will we be able to determine who the ruler of the celestial realm will be. Knight Sorrow nodded. He knew that Zhu Jiuyun was a talented person. He used to be a strategic commander, but he was blocked by him and Jun Xuanji. The real danger is that after she revives, her realm will be high, and her lifespan will be calculated according to her reincarnation. She, who has seen the power of the deity destroying tribulation, may be able to survive it. Tran Hung reached out and slammed the table. He was a little annoyed. The situation that was originally very promising had changed again. I'll try my best. Even if she's a half-step divine emperor, I'm not afraid. Knight Sorrow's robe shook. He had confidence in himself, and he had the courage to fight. You are the most talented person in the history of the 100 clans of the celestial realm. Be in terms of attributes, body, or achievements, you have far surpassed other practitioners. Soul, you must pay attention to the cultivation of your soul. When you go through the deity destroying tribulation, your body and soul must not have any shortcomings or flaws. Tran Hung reminded Knight Sorrow. Lord Tran Hung, I've obtained some soul nurturing grass. Please take a look. Knight Sorrow smiled and brought Tran Hung to the soul nurturing palace in the Heaven Sealing Palace Hall. This is a treasure that aids the cultivation of the soul. Tran Hung was very surprised when he saw the green soul nurturing grass. Yes, my soul is at the 8th Emperor Tribulation, but the quantity and quality are not at the same level. Therefore, my soul is not a weakness. Lord Tran Hung, please take some back and give some to my martial uncle, Knight Sorrow said to Tran Hung. He had thought about this before, but he didn't have the time to arrange it. Okay. Your original body is cultivating here, is indeed blessed by the heavens. The devil ancestor has hopes of going through the deity destroying tribulation. Your talent is much higher than hers. You can also go through the deity destroying tribulation, Tran Hung said to Knight Sorrow's original body, who was sitting in the middle of the soul-nurturing palace. I'm also confident, Knight Sorrow also smiled. Be careful in the future. If we are confident, we will fight them. If we are not, we will hibernate and cultivate. In a battle of the peak, we cannot fight when others are ready. We also have to increase our strength to the point where we cannot increase it. If we fail in that situation, we will not regret it. Tran Hung nodded to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow nodded and then collected some soul-nurturing grass for Tran Hung. I will go and refine it into an elixir to strengthen my soul. Tran Hung did not stand on ceremony and took the soul-nurturing grass. Knight Sorrow collected some more. Lord Tran Hung, please bring these to my martial uncle. If you and martial uncle don't have enough, you can come and get more. Okay, with you, we will not stand on ceremony. Although our chances of going through the deity destroying tribulation are not high, we still have to give it a try. At the very least, we can increase our battle strength. Not to mention the devil ancestor, it will be easy to take care of Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian, Tran Hung said. Knight Sorrow nodded. He had chatted with Elder Duan before and knew that Tran Hung and King Yawu were the most outstanding cultivators in the recent reincarnations. They still had a chance to go through the deity destroying tribulation. After sending Tran Hung to the teleportation array, Knight Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. The 9-domain doppelganger could not leave the 9-domain world. This was also destined. When he reached the city in the sky, Knight Sorrow asked Lin Piamiao to call Jun Xuanji back. Jun Xuanji, who had been informed by Lin Piamiao's doppelganger, also went to the city in the sky. First release, Knight Sorrow, I know about Jiyun's matter. I am responsible for it, so I did not think in that direction. Jun Xuanji apologized. Let's not talk about this. I called you back to confirm something. Was it Jiyun's original body or doppelganger that was with you all these years? Or was it both her original body and doppelganger with you? Knight Sorrow asked. He wanted to confirm whether Jiyun's doppelganger, was in the 9-domain world. If it was, it would be a crisis. When I went to the ancient domain world with her, It was my doppelganger that went with me, my original body, and I stayed in the divine capital. After that, we disappeared, Jun Xuanji said. In recent years, Juyun has not entered the nine-domain world. This means that her original body and doppelganger are in the celestial realm. Our nine-domain world is stable. After confirming, Knight Sorrow felt more at ease. He had to ensure the safety of his family and the people around him. How can this be? Why can't Juyun let go of the past? Jun Xuanji's face was filled with pain because the feelings between them were very deep. People who walk different paths cannot make plans together. This is something that cannot be helped. I, Knight Sorrow, will fight to the death to protect the nine-domain world and the celestial realm. She knows this. Since she has chosen to be an enemy, I have no other choice. Please forgive me. Knight Sorrow looked at Jun Xuanji and said, I understand, and I support your decision. No matter what your feelings are, a position is a position, Jun Xuanji nodded. If you feel that it is difficult, then come back. Don't participate in this war, Knight Sorrow said to Jun Xuanji. No, you said it yourself. Feelings are feelings, but standpoints are standpoints. If I see her again, I'll just ask her one question. Is our feelings really beneath her? Is there a need for her to run away? Jun Xuanji exhaled. Chapter 23:14. According to your deduction, she has already awakened for some time, but no one knows about it. Ha! Knight Sorrow smiled bitterly, because this meant that Zhu Jiyun had already made her choice. Don't think too much. The Devil Ancestor's original body is very powerful, and her reincarnation was awakened without being affected. Naturally, the will of the original body is the main body. In fact, the reincarnation is just a doppelganger. It's just that her cultivation is not enough. The heavenly concubine looked at Knight Sorrow and said, We were once friends who went through life and death together, but when we meet again, we have to fight. I really don't want that. Knight Sorrow sighed. This is something that can't be helped. It's fate. It's not that you want to give up on your friendship. It's that she gave up on your friendship after awakening. The heavenly concubine saw the reason for Knight Sorrow's sadness. Our standpoints are different, so there's nothing to talk about. What's Zhu Jiyun's cultivation? Lin Piaomiao looked at the heavenly concubine and asked, I can't tell. She should be cultivating some secret technique. The Devil Ancestor's foundation is very deep. I don't know what kind of secret technique she has, but judging from her aura, she should be at the early stage of the Emperor Tribulation. The heavenly concubine thought for a while and estimated Zhu Jiyun's strength. The Devil Ancestor's awakening is inevitable, but it will take some time. This is my chance to improve. Also, the situation of the 100 races in the celestial realm is no longer secret. Knight Sorrow drank a mouthful of wine and said, Yes, she knows the situation of the 100 races in the celestial realm very well. She might not know about you recently, but she also knows about your past. The heavenly concubine nodded. Knight Sorrow thought for a while and felt that Zhu Jiyun should know about his situation before she went to the spatial passage with Jun Xuanji. After seeing the heavenly concubine, she should not be moving around in the celestial realm for fear of being exposed. She should not be clear about his recent battle strength. I must speed up. When my body and cultivation reach the 9 Emperor Tribulation level, I will attack and end the war before the Devil Ancestor awakens. Knight Sorrow made a decision. At this time, in front of the Devil Ancestor's palace in the Devil Imperial City, Mo Yuqing reported the situation to Mo Zhantian. What did you say? That woman has a pair of golden horns on her head, and her bloodline is suppressing you to the point that you can't even think about fighting? Mo Zhantian looked at Darkfeather with some surprise. Yes, she asked me to send a message back. She said that the Devil Imperial City is no longer stable, and the body of the Devil Ancestor must be moved. She said that there's an alternate dimension below the sacrificial tower, and the body of the Devil Ancestor must be moved into that alternate dimension to await his awakening. This news can only be relayed to the Divine Ancestor. Dark Feather replied. Mo Zhantian paced back and forth, the expression on his face constantly changing. He then looked at Dark Feather and issued an order, completely following the instructions of this woman. Hashtag First DT. Those with golden horns are the Demon Emperor. Is she from our Demon Wing clan? Dark Feather asked. Yes, she may be the reincarnation of the soul of the Devil Ancestor. Otherwise, she would not know the current situation of the Devil Ancestor. In addition, with bloodline suppression, it is impossible for other races to keep a secret and pass on the information. Enchanting did not hide anything from Dark Feather. Feather understands. That lady, that is the Devil Ancestor, said that the Myriad Great Emperor of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm has emerged, and the fire of Myriad of the Great Emperor level is indestructible. The defense of the Devil Imperial City may not necessarily be unbreakable, so there must be a backup plan. Dark Feather explained. Ask the Devil Ancestor if there are any other instructions after placing her body in the alternate dimension. Immortality said to Dark Feather. With the connection between Dark Feather's original body and avatar, Zhu made some arrangements, made some plans for retreat, and made plans for the Devil Imperial City after it was breached. Zhu had the memories of her original body and knew some legends about the Myriad Great Emperor. She was worried that the Devil Imperial City would not be able to withstand the attack of Night Sorrow, so she arranged for the Demon Wing clan to hide her body and wait for her to awaken. In addition, except for the main combat personnel, all of them retreated to the Heaven Wasteland domain and to the subsidiary domains of the Heaven Wasteland domain. Zhu also instructed Immortality to forge a halberd. The great desolate halberd used by her original body had been refined by Night Sorrow into the Samsara halberd. She no longer had a suitable weapon. If she met Night Sorrow again, it would be a fight to the death, and there would be no possibility of taking back her weapon. Originally, Zhu should have said that Demon Nine Clouds left the ancient world through the space passage and planned to return to the Nine Domains world to hide, but she felt that this would not work. She was worried that the heavenly concubine would leak the news, and then she would be isolated from the Nine Domains world and would not be able to contact her original body. It would be more troublesome for her original body to awaken. In terms of combat strength, Demon Nine Clouds felt that if her original body did not awaken, Night Sorrow would be invincible in the Nine Domains world, and she would not be able to do it either. Therefore, she could not take the risk. After the arrangements were made, Demon Nine Clouds planned to cultivate in seclusion. Over the years, she had paid attention to collecting resources. She had obtained a lot from Jun Xuanji and the God-Slaying team, and it was enough for her to use for now. Reporting to my lord, Divine Ancestor Zhan Tian has already followed your instructions. Do you have any other orders? Mo Yuqing bowed to Demon Nine Clouds and said, set up the teleportation formation. We will return at any time. Also, the Heaven Wasteland army is on a rampage. Think of a way to control a Heaven Wasteland soldier and see if you can mix in with the Heaven Wasteland army. This way, we will have an extra route without activating the teleportation formation, Demon Nine Clouds ordered. After sending away the Demon Winged race, Demon Nine Clouds looked at the horizon with his hands behind his back. Send someone to find me. Night Sorrow, it seems that you already know that some things are predestined. You and I are destined to fight to the death. If you die in battle, I will erect a tombstone for you. Demon Nine Clouds was different from Jun Xuanji. When she awakened, she was not disturbed, and her soul was not sealed. Therefore, after awakening, her original body and awakened body's will and thoughts were united. She was different from Jun Xuanji, who had awakened body's thoughts. Jun Xuanji, Mo Tianji, Demon Nine Clouds shook her head. Her will was as strong as iron. She did not say anything about the heavenly concubine's choice, nor did she contact them. She was even avoiding them. Everyone had their own ambitions. Demon Nine Clouds knew this very well. Night Sorrow knew about Demon Nine Clouds' matter. He felt great pressure and motivation. Night Sorrow knew that he was now strong enough to deal with the Black Armor King and the others. At most, it would take some effort. The Black Armor King and the others could not overthrow the Celestial Realm's rule over the Celestial Realm. However, the demon ancestor was different. When the demon ancestor awakened, he would be a half-step divine emperor. He had the strength to wipe out the experts of the celestial realm. Not to mention other things. Just one person's continuous assassination would exhaust the strength of the celestial realm's races. Then, the celestial realm would change. It would become the demon-winged race's sky. While Night Sorrow was thinking, the Qing Emperor came and told Night Sorrow that Tran Hung had arrived at Xingyue City. Night Sorrow asked the Qing Emperor to invite Tran Hung to Jiuyu City. He invited Tran Hung into the City Lord's mansion. "City Lord, you must be here for Zhu Jiuyun, right?" Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. Chapter 23:15. It's very serious. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything from Tran Hung. He told her everything he knew and predicted. The situation is indeed very complicated. The Demon Wing clan is too strong. 2 of them have successfully reincarnated. The 100 clans of the Celestial Realm can't do that. Tran Hung shook her head. Not really. The original owner of the Wasteland Tower, Shura Empress Yi Tianxin, didn't completely die. I don't know what happened, but if she was successfully reincarnated, she should have returned. It's the end of the world, a great era, Night Sorrow said. We can't count on that. After all, it's too illusory. Let's follow your plan. Before the demon ancestor awakens, we should destroy the demon imperial city and the foundation they rely on. Then we could talk about other things. Even if we lose temporarily, the 100 clans can rise in the future and defeat the Demon Wing clan without the unbreakable fortress, Tran Hung said. I understand. Zhu Jiyun is now in the elementary emperor tribulation. She still needs time. I'll definitely be faster than her. Also, it's impossible to kill her before she awakens. Zhu Jiyun used to be the leader of the Netherworld around the 9 Regions world. She has a strong sense of strategy. She'll have prepared some backup plans. After all, the Demon Wing clan has spies in the Celestial Realm. They're well informed. I think they've already made some backup plans, Night Sorrow said. You mean we can't avoid the battle with the awakened demon ancestor? Tran Hung looked at Night Sorrow seriously. This was a great crisis. No one knew how powerful a half-step divine emperor was. In the last reincarnation, when the demon ancestor fought, she was in a state of tribulation. She didn't have any battle power after she died. We can't avoid it. We have to fight to the death. Only then will we be able to determine who the ruler of the Celestial Realm will be. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Zhu Jiuyun was a talented person. He used to be a strategic commander, but he was blocked by him and Jun Xuanji. The real danger is that after she revives, her realm will be high, and her lifespan will be calculated according to her reincarnation. She, who has seen the power of the deity destroying tribulation, may be able to survive it. Tran Hung reached out and slammed the table. He was a little annoyed. The situation that was originally very promising had changed again. I'll try my best. Even if she's a half-step divine emperor, I'm not afraid. Night Sorrow's robe shook. He had confidence in himself. He had the courage to fight. You are the one with the highest potential in the history of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. Be it in terms of attributes, body, or achievements, you have far surpassed other practitioners. You must pay attention to the cultivation of your soul. When you go through the deity destroying tribulation, your body and soul must not have any shortcomings or flaws, Tran Hung reminded Night Sorrow. Lord Tran Hung, I've obtained some soul-nourishing grass. Please take a look. Night Sorrow smiled and brought Tran Hung to the soul-nourishing palace of the Heaven Sealing Palace. This is a treasure that can help the cultivation of the soul. Tran Hung was very surprised when he saw the green soul-nourishing grass. Yes, my soul is at the level of the 8 Emperors' Tribulation, but the quantity and quality are not at the level of the 8 Emperors' Tribulation. Therefore, my soul is not a weakness. Lord Tran Hung, please take some back and give some to my martial uncle, Night Sorrow said to Tran Hung. He had thought about this before, but he didn't have the time to arrange it. Haha, okay. Your original body is cultivating here, so you are indeed blessed by the heavens. The devil ancestor has hopes of going through the deity, destroying tribulation. Your talent is much higher than hers, so you can also go through the deity, destroying tribulation. Tran Hung looked at Night Sorrow's original body, who was cultivating in the middle of the soul, nourishing palace, and smiled. I'm also confident. Night Sorrow also smiled. Be careful in the future. If we are confident, we will fight them. If we are not, then we will hibernate and cultivate. In a battle of the pinnacle, we cannot fight when others are ready. We have to increase our strength to the point where we cannot increase it before fighting. In that case, there is no regret if we lose. Tran Hung nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and then collected some soul, nourishing grass for Tran Hung. I will go and refine it into an elixir to strengthen my soul. Tran Hung did not stand on ceremony and kept the soul, nourishing grass. Night Sorrow collected some more. Lord Tran Hung, please bring these to my Uncle Master. If you and Uncle Master don't have enough, you can come and get more. Okay, with you, we will not stand on ceremony. Although our chances of going through the deity, destroying tribulation, are not high, we still have to give it a try. At the very least, we can increase our battle strength. Not to mention the devil ancestor, it will be easy to take care of Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian, Tran Hung said. Night Sorrow nodded. He had chatted with Elder Duan before and knew that Tran Hung and King Yawu were the most outstanding cultivators in the recent reincarnations. They still had a chance to go through the deity, destroying tribulation. After sending Tran Hung to the teleportation array, Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. The 9-domain doppelganger could not leave the 9-domain world. This was also destined. When he arrived at the city in the sky, Night Sorrow asked Lin Piamiao to call Jun Xuanji back. See Chapter G section of the $0. F. Jun Xuanji, who had been informed by Lin Piamiao's doppelganger, had already arrived at the city in the sky. Night Sorrow, I know about Juyun's matter. I am responsible for it, so I did not think in that direction. Jun Xuanji apologized. Let's not talk about this. I called you back to confirm some things. Was it Juyun's original body or doppelganger that was with you all these years? Or was both her original body and doppelganger with you? Night Sorrow asked. He wanted to confirm if Juyun's doppelganger was in the 9-domain world. If it was, then it would be a crisis. When I went to the ancient domain's spatial passageway with her, it was her doppelganger that went with me. Both of us stayed in the divine capital and disappeared after that, Jun Xuanji said. In recent years, Juyun did not enter the 9-domain world. This means that both her original body and doppelganger are in the celestial realm. Our 9-domain world is stable. After confirming this, Night Sorrow felt a little more at ease. He had to ensure the safety of his family and the people around him. How can this be? Why can't Juyun let go of the past? Jun Xuanji's face was filled with pain because the feelings between them were very deep. People who walk different paths cannot make plans together. This is something that cannot be helped. I, Night Sorrow, will fight to the death to protect the 9-domain world and the celestial realm. She knows this. Since she chose to be an enemy, I have no other choice. Please forgive me. Night Sorrow looked at Jun Xuanji and said, I understand, and I support your decision. Regardless of personal feelings, a standpoint is a standpoint, Jun Xuanji nodded. If you feel that it is difficult, then come back. Don't participate in this war. Night Sorrow looked at Jun Xuanji and said, No, you said it yourself. Feelings are feelings, but standpoints are standpoints. If I see her again, I'll just ask her one question. Is our feelings really beneath her? Is there a need for her to run away? Jun Xuanji exhaled. Chapter 23:16. Maybe it's because of my situation. She's worried that the 100 clans of the celestial realm would use force, Jun Xuanji said after hearing Night Sorrow's words. That's not right. Back then, I respected your opinion and asked for your opinion before asking someone to seal your soul. However, her situation is indeed different from yours. Before you awakened, your doppelganger had self-awareness and could see things rationally. However, she awakened directly. Her will is the will of the main body, so it's different, Night Sorrow said. Yes, that's why she's worried. If she's worried, it means that you didn't give her a chance to leave. She's not willing to take this risk, Jun Xuanji nodded. She still underestimated our friendship. Let's not talk about this anymore. If there's a battle in the future, let's fight, Night Sorrow sighed. She knows what happened between us. She even blamed me, saying that I didn't cherish our friendship, and that it was because of me that we were unfamiliar with each other. All these things are still vivid in my mind. However, she suddenly left, Jun Xuanji said softly after seeing that there was no one around. She felt a little sad in her heart. Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. This was something he didn't expect. Then I'll return to the Humanitarian League first, Jun Xuanji said. This is my soul crystal. Take it. If she appears and comes to find you, crush it. I want to talk to her. Night Sorrow handed Jun Xuanji a soul crystal. Jun Xuanji had left. Actually, Yishang didn't want her to go to the Heaven Realm. Zhu Juyun had sided with the Devil Wing clan, which meant that they would be mortal enemies in the future. She knew about Jun Xuanji's matter. If she harmed Jun Xuanji and used him as a hostage, Yishang would hesitate to act because he couldn't just ignore it. While Yishang was deep in thought, his wives arrived. Are you worried about Xuanji's safety? I'll inform Guardian Shuriwei and the others to pay more attention to the Humanitarian League. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked, Indeed, we have to be careful. Zhu Juyun understands us too well. In the past, we understood Zhu Juyun. But now, we don't know what the demon ancestor does. It's possible that she hates Heavenly Concubine and Jun Xuanji. Night Sorrow nodded at Lin Piaomiao. He felt that there was no harm in holding back. After that, Night Sorrow told his family and children not to go to the Celestial Realm as often as possible. The Nine-Domain world was close to becoming a sub-supreme world, and training in the Nine-Domain world was the same. One Lin Piaomiao and the rest understood Night Sorrow's concerns. Dachura gathered all the children together and ordered them to be grounded. In the Yi family, the children of Night Sorrow and the others were most afraid of Dachura, followed by Yanglei, because the two of them were the strictest. Auntie, I still have friends in the Misty Dynasty. Yi Xiaoke said softly. I only told you not to go out. I didn't say not to let others come. Can't you let others come? Dachura glared at Yi Xiaoke. Oh, thank you, Auntie. Yi Xiaoke shrunk his neck. What are you talking about? Just listen. You talk a lot of nonsense. Lin Piaomiao looked at her son unhappily. After chatting with his wife and children for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at Heavenly Concubine's residence. It's rare for you to come to my territory. Heavenly Concubine smiled and invited Night Sorrow to sit down. This is my territory. How did it become yours? What's yours is yours. Night Sorrow said as he sat down. Are you feeling pressured? Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and asked. A little bit. It's mainly because I'm a little sad. Zhu Jiyun once fought with me and went through fire and water with me many times. However, the next time we meet, it might be with weapons. Night Sorrow shook his head. Being loyal is your strength. However, there are some things that you have to be clear about. Fire and water are incompatible. The will of the Ancestor Devil is the will of the Devil Wing clan. She must fight for the Devil Wing clan and conquer the Celestial Realm and even the Nine-Domain world for the Devil Wing clan. There is no room for negotiation. Heavenly Concubine said, In the future, you will stay in the Nine-Domain world and don't go out. I will take care of these matters. Even if there is a problem with me, my Nine-Domain avatars in the Nine-Domain world have combat strength that far surpasses the Divine Soul Unity realm. With you, the Nine-Domain world will be stable. Night Sorrow said, Hee, are you worried that she will hate me and attack me? I am not afraid. When you go to deal with the Black Armor King and the others, it will be a group battle. I have to go. Heavenly Concubine said. She knew that Night Sorrow was worried that she would become Zhu Jiyun's target. Of course you have to take part in the battle with the Black Armor King and the others. Otherwise, I won't be able to stop the 5 of them. Night Sorrow said with a smile. After chatting and laughing with Heavenly Concubine, Night Sorrow relaxed a lot. Then, he returned to the clear sky pagoda beside the lake. He wanted to cultivate the Thousand Realms defensive body in the time acceleration. The celestial realm had stabilized. However, the nine-domain world was not stable. There were signs of people in the barren areas. Some races in the celestial realm had settled in. All of this was arranged by the nine-domain world's commander-in-chief residence, according to the plan and map. After these people settled in, they would start building the city. These people had a fixed area. The nine-domain world's commander-in-chief residence had stipulated that the new forces could only build, live, and cultivate. They had to use the teleportation formation to go out. Although the conditions sounded harsh, the people who were asked to accept it happily. They knew that they were lucky. Many people wanted to enter the nine-domain world, but did not have a way. Other than those arranged by the commander-in-chief residence, no one else could enter. The Liu family's villa was under construction in the Taiqing domain. Yi Shaoluo was there and kept giving orders. Jingyu and Lang Li were there too. This was the villa of Liu Qi's family. Liu Yu was in charge of it. Liu Qi felt that it was not too late for the Liu family to enter the nine-domain world later. However, Lin Piaomiao and the others had already arranged it. The nine-domain world is really different. It is prosperous but very harmonious. Lang Li said they had used the teleportation formation to pass through many cities. They had a rough understanding of the nine-domain world, especially the scenery of the Night Moon City. It is unique in the world. However, the tombstones in the city look a little tragic. Liu Yu said, that is the tombstone of the Yi family's ancestors who died in battle. That is also the tombstone of my father's rise. Back then, my father started from there. He worked hard for the rise of the Night Moon City alone. He started a war against a few empires in the Taiqing domain alone. Do you know how old my father was at that time? He was only around 20 years old. Yi Shaoluo said, the rise of the human emperor is the interpretation of positive energy. It is a legend. It is a legend that cannot be replicated. This legend is still continuing. Liu Yu said with some emotion, yes, the legend is still continuing. Jingyu and the others' eyes were filled with admiration and respect. Shaoluo, your father is not accepting disciples? If he does, I will go to your door and kneel for 7 days and 7 nights. Liu Yu said with a smile. Chapter 23:17. Some people would take in a large number of disciples after they become successful. Then they would establish their own forces and continue their legacy. Why didn't the human emperor have such plans? Lang Li didn't understand. My father didn't have such thoughts. He is a sensitive person. There's a reason why he took in senior brother Ning and senior sister Chiyue. My father watched senior brother Ning grow up. He came from a poor family. Hence, my father wanted him to have a good life. Senior sister Chiyue wasn't happy when she was young either. Because of the war, her entire family died in the war. My father treated her as a family member. My senior sister Chiyue calls my father uncle in private. There's another person who learned from my father but didn't take him as a disciple. However, it doesn't matter. He is now my big brother-in-law. Yi Shaoluo said. The last person he mentioned was Johnny. Johnny indeed didn't need to take him as a disciple. Knight Sorrow, as his martial uncle, would teach him as his father-in-law. ZB Moore foreknew most of fast up OSB, so complicated. People die in war. Your senior sister Chiyue didn't have it easy either. Liu Yu said, that's right. That war was commanded by my father. The opponent was the current Profound Mysteries realm. At that time, the leader of the Profound Mysteries realm was the current Humanitarian League's Chief Steward Jun. They were the ones who started the war against the Nine Regions world. To the Nine Regions world, that war was a war that could be easily broken through. Yi Shaoluo explained. It's good that he can treat the family members of his fallen subordinates well. Jingyu nodded. That's not it. None of the men under my father's command that I know or know have died in battle. My senior sister Chiyue was from the Profound Mysteries realm. She was killed by the Nine Regions world. At this moment, Yi Qingyan arrived. She heard that Yi Shaoluo had been mingling around here. Hence, she came over to take a look. Let me introduce you. My elder sister, the young miss of our city in the sky. Other than my parents, She is the most important person. Yi Xiaoluo pulled on Yi Qingyan's sleeves and introduced her. Greetings, young realm lord. Lang Li and the others bowed. They knew that Yi Xiaoluo didn't care about status and titles. However, they didn't know Yi Qingyan. Hence, they couldn't be rude. Please don't call me that. Just call me Qingyan. Yi Qingyan shook her head. In that case, elder sister Qingyan, please take a seat. Earlier, elder sister Qingyan said that elder sister Qiyue's family was killed by the people of the Nine Regions world. Doesn't she hate the commander of that time, your father? Lu Yu asked. The war was not started by my father or the Nine Regions world. It was started by the profound mysteries realm and the Nine Regions world. After the war, my father took away those homeless children and established the Holy Church to take charge of their education. My father doesn't owe anyone anything in this matter. Everyone in the profound mysteries realm knows this. She felt the need to say that in her heart, in the hearts of all the people in the Nine Regions world, her father was not tainted. You've done your best. That's probably why the Nine Regions world is so harmonious. Jingyu nodded. You're all my little brother's friends. Take care of things here and come to Sky City as guests. You haven't been there yet, right? Yi Qingyan invited them. That's right. It's mainly because I'm nervous to see the human emperor. Jingyu rubbed his forehead. My father is in seclusion and probably won't be able to see him. You can go. My little brother and little sister are both at home. It'll be more lively. Yi Qingyan smiled. Lu Yu, where's Kiki? Yi Xiaoluo looked at Jingyu and the others and asked. I don't know. She won't be with us for long. She'll leave after a while. She'll inform us when she returns. Qiyue said. After Lu Yu took care of everything, the group went to Night Moon City first. Lu Yu and the others bought some fruits and gifts and went to Sky City. The Yi family naturally welcomed them warmly. Greetings, madams. Jingyu and the others bowed. Night Sorrow's family was the most respected group of people in the Nine Regions world. It was hard for ordinary people to see them. Don't stand on ceremony. Sit. It's rare for guests to come to Sky City. Just treat this place as your home. Xiaoluo, take care of them. Dechira said. Yes, we have to take care of them. Introduce them to your brothers and sisters. Lin Piamiao also instructed Yi Xiaoluo. Mother and aunt, don't worry. Yi Xiaoluo stood up and bowed. He was arrogant and unrestrained outside, but he was obedient at home. There's no need to introduce them. They're just like my fourth brother. They're all scammers. Yi Xiaoke came out and said directly. You bastard, how can you say that? Lin Piamiao slapped him. However, Yi Xiaoluo went to Dechira's side. Mother, I'm just joking. Back then, my brothers, sister Qiyue, and sister Kiki risked their lives to give me a chance to retreat. I still remember this favor. So when I heard that my brothers and sister Qiyue were coming, I immediately came to receive them. Yi Xiaoke explained. He knew that if he didn't explain clearly, he would be punished. At least you understand. Go and receive them with your fourth brother. Lin Piamiao glared at Yi Xiaoke. Then Lin Piamiao and the others talked about dinner and left. Xiaoluo, your mother and aunt are so beautiful. So beautiful that it makes people feel pressured. July said, That's right. My father has good taste. Yi Xiaoke said, The days were peaceful. Black Armor King and the others didn't move. Night Sorrow didn't move either. Night Sorrow felt that Black Armor King and the others wouldn't move for a period of time. In the previous battle, Night Sorrow had injured all 5 of them. The forbidden energy had invaded their bodies. It was very difficult for Black Armor King and the others to remove the forbidden energy from their bodies. The forbidden energy surpassed the supreme energy. Its damage and toughness were extremely strong. If Night Sorrow killed his energy into his opponent's bodies, they wouldn't be able to refine and remove it in a short period of time. It could even be said that it was impossible. If ordinary energy wanted to refine the forbidden energy, it would be like a wooden knife cutting through iron. It wouldn't be able to cut through it. When Night Sorrow was at the entrance of the space tunnel, he had cultivated his body to the late stage of the 8th Emperor Tribulation. However, there was a huge gap between the late stage of the 8th Emperor Tribulation and the 9th Emperor Tribulation. It was a huge bottleneck. It wasn't easy to break through. Fortunately, Night Sorrow had accumulated some resources for cultivating his body. He could use the boundless body tempering art to continuously strengthen his body, using quantity to achieve qualitative change. Other than looking at the construction of the Liu clan's manor, Liu Yu and the others often went to the city in the sky. Lin Piaomiao and the others were also very welcoming. Lin Piaomiao and Lu Qi's relationship was very good. She also found that Liu Yu and Yi Xiaolua's relationship was very good. There were already signs that they could develop further. After cultivating the Thousand Worlds defensive body to the 7th realm, the 8th realm was beginning to take shape. Night Sorrow's 9-domain doppelganger appeared mainly to understand the current situation and situation. Chapter 23:18. After hearing that nothing had changed, Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was the calm before the storm. Black Armor King and the others were in a state of hibernation. Zhu Jiuyun, or rather, Demon Nine Clouds, was also in a state of hibernation. No matter which side it was, they were all preparing. Once they were ready, the war would break out. When that time came, it would be a great war that would decide the fate of the world. Liu Yu, how was your ancestor recently? After hearing Lin Piaomiao's report, Night Sorrow looked at Liu Yu and asked, I don't know. Recently, I have been in charge of the construction of the Liu clan's manor in the 9 regions world. I haven't seen him. Liu Yu said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that he wasn't the only one who was busy with cultivation. The others were also busy with other things. After chatting with everyone for a while, Night Sorrow took the 9 regions map that Lin Piaomiao gave him and walked around. He also looked at the territories of the various factions. After looking at it, Night Sorrow was very satisfied. This was because all the people from the various factions were moving around within the designated areas. Night Sorrow walked around the eastern Xian region again. He also went to the Saint Hall to take a look. He even gave some pointers to the cultivation of a few young men. He was wearing a plain white robe. These new students didn't recognize him. They only felt that what he said made sense. That was why they listened to Night Sorrow's pointers. After giving some pointers to the students, he touched the reclining chair that he used to sit on. The reclining chair was already shiny because it was often cleaned. Night Sorrow shook his head with a smile and left. After Night Sorrow left, the students started debating whether they should listen to someone they had never seen before. Should we listen to him? You guys are really... I don't know what to say. No matter who he gives pointers to, they would gladly accept it and even feel lucky. Bei Tiangu appeared. Now, he and Xue Wuling were in charge of the Saint Hall. Noticing Night Sorrow's arrival and that Night Sorrow didn't plan to meet anyone, Bei Tiangu didn't disturb him. He only came out to speak after hearing the students' discussion. Vice Hall Master knows that. Hall Master. That person is the Hall Master. The boy who spoke suddenly matched Night Sorrow with the portrait. Yes, he is the Hall Master of our Saint Hall, the World Master of the 9 regions world. Do you think you should listen to his guidance? Xue Wuling also showed up. He used to be an invincible venerable from the Qingtian domain. He left the family affairs to the younger generation and stayed in the Saint Hall. In the 9 domains world's Saint Halls, the Vice Hall Masters were often changed, but there was only one Hall Master, and that was Night Sorrow. Then why didn't the 2 Vice Hall Masters come out just now to persuade the Hall Master to stay? Another student who was being instructed asked. You don't understand. The Hall Master is busy now, very busy. He doesn't have much time. Our appearance will inevitably lead to some social activities. The Hall Master will come again when he has time, said Bei Tiangu. Upon hearing Bei Tiangu's words, the students nodded. They were grateful to Night Sorrow. They came from poor families and were taken in by the Saint Hall to begin their martial arts journey. Night Sorrow walked around Bamboo Garden City and then went to the Medicine Valley area. He just stood in the air and looked at the Medicine Valley from afar for a while before leaving. Night Sorrow wanted to take a look, but he didn't want to cause any unnecessary trouble. If he went, Gong Xian and the others would definitely receive him. That would be another round of trouble. In a small courtyard behind Danding Peak in the Medicine Valley, Gong Xian looked at his wife, Tang Qianqian. 13 came back, but he left again. I guess he didn't want to disturb us. He's still worried about the Medicine Valley. It's not that he's worried. It should be said that the Medicine Valley is his biggest concern. Tang Qianqian corrected Gong Xian. Night Sorrow didn't deliberately hide his aura when he appeared, so some people knew about it. However, they could understand why Night Sorrow was in such a situation and why he didn't enter. Gong Xian nodded. He felt sorry for Night Sorrow, but he understood that Night Sorrow had a lot of things to do and couldn't stop. The responsibility of the Nine Domains world was on his shoulders. Senior brother, there are many foreign races in the Nine Domains world. How's the situation? Are they being ostracized? Asked Tang Qianqian. Not yet. The Nine Domains world has been expanding. If the empty space under their rule is bigger, then the great wilderness will be empty. In the future, demon beasts will run rampant, and the people who will suffer will be the common people and low-level cultivators. The troops of the 100 races in the celestial realm are restricted by the Commander-in-Chief's office. They won't mess around. 13 won't allow anyone to mess around, Gong Xian said. The stability of the Nine Domains world was brought by 13. The people of the Nine Domains world believe in 13. Tang Qianqian nodded. After strolling around, Night Sorrow arrived at the Commander-in-Chief's office. In the Commander-in-Chief's office, Night Sorrow saw Huang Ling, Wu Lingfei, Tai Shu Yin, Yin Tianlong, and Yi Linghuan. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at the group of people and sat down on the main seat. The main seat was empty, so was his seat. No matter if he came or not, no one would sit there. Huang Ling cupped her hands at Night Sorrow and told him about the arrangements and progress of the troops of the 100 races in the celestial realm. Very good. Don't invade the living area of the demon beasts. There's a balance between life. If there is no natural enemy, then the cultivator's motivation will be small. Everyone should control this, Night Sorrow reminded them. Dion Jiu B6 free P Phi UC small. H said H asterisk. Huang Ling and the others nodded. They understood what Night Sorrow said. Then I'll have to trouble everyone. I'll be in the city in the sky. If you have anything to do, you can go there. Aunt Fei, when you're free, bring Lord Ling Huang to the city in the sky. Night Sorrow got up and left after saying that. There's a lot of pressure. In front of Lord Tranhung and Lord King Yuwu, there's no such pressure, Huang Ling muttered. Huang Ling muttered. She felt that Yi Shang's words were calm, but there was no room for doubt or rebuttal. After returning to the city in the sky, Night Sorrow accompanied his parents, wife, and children for dinner. Shaluo, where's your friend? Why isn't she in the city in the sky? Night Sorrow asked Yi Shaluo after drinking a cup of wine with his father, Yi Wuyo. The construction of the Liu family's manor is in the final stage. Liu Yu and the others want to go and take a look, Yi Shaluo said. Shaluo, do you like that girl? If you do, just say it and let your father propose marriage. Lin Piaomiao looked at Yi Shaluo and asked, Auntie, let's wait for a while more. There are some things that we didn't say clearly. It's a little awkward to suddenly mention it now. Yi Shaluo shook his head. Night Sorrow nodded at Yi Shaluo. He supported his son's matters. As long as his son asked, he would propose marriage. After spending a few days with his family, Night Sorrow's 9 Realms doppelganger entered the clear sky pagoda again. The main body cultivated the realm, while the doppelganger pursued the improvement of the power of the battle skills. If it was effective, then when the war came, both the cultivation realm and the power of the battle skills would increase. Demon 9 Clouds sent Devil Feather to search for traces of the ancient cultivators, but Devil Feather did not find Devil Feather, because in the celestial realm, only Night Sorrow knew the location of the Black Armor King and the others. Chapter 2319. Demon 9 Cloud's idea was to recruit some ancient cultivators. If she could recruit them, then it would be easier to conquer the celestial realm. After all, the occupation of the celestial realm also required strong suppression and rule. But Mo Yuqing and the others could not find any information about the ancient cultivators. Demon 9 Clouds also had no other way. She could not enter the ancient world. Before the original body awakened and reached its peak strength, Demon Nine Clouds did not want to have a conflict with the 100 races of the celestial realm, because she was not sure. Diyoung square root Geoji free. Look at little PZ Demon Nine Clouds had a plan for the future. She was currently cultivating, and when she reached the high-level Emperor Tribulation, she could return to the Demon Imperial City. At that time, the original body had not awakened, but when the Avatar and the original body merged, the original body would awaken. If the original body had already awakened, then the two bodies could cultivate to the God-Soul Unity stage. Once they reached the God-Soul Unity stage, they could then fuse with the original body. Once they reached that stage, Mo Juyun felt that there was a high chance of him surviving the God-destroying tribulation. Demon Nine Clouds muttered to herself. Mo Yuqing did not dare to utter a word. Facing Demon Nine Clouds, she was under a lot of pressure and did not even dare to breathe loudly. This was the pressure of a superior. I asked you to control a Heaven Wasteland soldier. Did you do it? Demon Nine Clouds asked. Replying to my lord, we did it. Mo Yuqing bowed. Good, if there's a chance, we will return. Hearing this news, Demon Nine Clouds nodded with satisfaction. This news was good news for her. Demon Nine Clouds' original body had been cultivating and did not waste any time to improve. She was also anxious because she knew that Night Sorrow had a strong sense of strategy. It would not be long before the 100 races of the Celestial Realm attacked the Demon Imperial City, and the Demon Imperial City was already shrouded in crisis. Time passed little by little. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, the development of the 9 Domains world was on the right track. The construction of the encampment of the 100 races in the Celestial Realm had been completed and had begun to develop steadily. There were also many great emperors in the 9 Domains world. Gong Xian, Yu Yangyu, and Yiling Huan had all become great emperors. Taishu Yin had also entered the great emperor realm. This was a chain reaction brought about by the development of the 9 Domains. Night Sorrow did not participate in these banquets to celebrate his ascension to martial emperor because he was in seclusion. In the world of ordinary people, 100 years might be a lifetime, but in the life of a cultivator, 100 years was just an instant. 100 years passed in the blink of an eye, and Night Sorrow came out of seclusion. He had cultivated his body to the peak of the 8th Emperor Tribulation, and he needed to transcend his tribulation. He had also cultivated the 1,000 Worlds defensive body to the 12 Worlds boundary. Night Sorrow did not tell anyone that he was going to transcend his tribulation. The 9th Emperor Tribulation was a worrisome tribulation, and it was also the greatest tribulation besides the God Extermination Tribulation. In the depths of the great wilderness, Night Sorrow's 9 Domains doppelganger stood outside. His main body activated his cultivation and attracted the tribulation. The tribulation lightning was very overbearing, and there were 9 waves in one wave. Fortunately, Night Sorrow's protective energy was strong, and he withstood wave after wave, using the tribulation lightning to temper his body. After the 9th wave of tribulation lightning, Night Sorrow withstood 81 waves of tribulation lightning. His robe was torn, and the corner of his mouth was dark red. After transcending the tribulation lightning, Night Sorrow's energy was exhausted. It's okay. If my doppelganger enters my body, I won't be injured. Night Sorrow wiped the corner of his mouth and made a calculation. Night Sorrow absorbed the energy of the tribulation and started to cultivate, stabilizing his cultivation. No one knew that Night Sorrow had already reached the 9th Emperor Tribulation level. Night Sorrow's body had transcended the 9th Emperor Tribulation, and with the method of proving the Tao through strength, it was only a matter of time before his true Qi realm entered the 9th Emperor Tribulation. After absorbing the Tribulation Lightning's energy, Night Sorrow entered the Clear Sky Pagoda to stabilize his cultivation. His main body had advanced, and his doppelganger had changed along with his main body, reaching the same realm as his main body. The 9 Domains doppelganger used Primordial Destruction / and Reincarnation True Dragon Kill. Night Sorrow felt that once his main body stabilized his realm, he would be able to fight. Night Sorrow roared towards the sky and returned to the city in the sky. In the city in the sky, The Yi family could not see Night Sorrow's cultivation. They only felt that Night Sorrow was in a good mood. However, there was someone who knew what was good. The heavenly concubine appeared in Night Sorrow's mansion. You're not bad. You sneakily transcended the 9th Emperor Tribulation, and now your body's strength is simply indescribable. The heavenly concubine was shocked when she saw Night Sorrow. She never thought that a cultivator could cultivate their body to this realm. The heavenly concubine examined Night Sorrow's flesh, bones, and tendons. They were all made of tiny energy crystals. Each crystal contained dense energy. I can't hide it from you. I just successfully transcended the tribulation, and my body entered the 9th Emperor Tribulation level. Night Sorrow said with a smile, "You can fight in this state. When are we going to kill Black Armor King and the others?" The heavenly concubine asked, "My main body is stabilizing his realm. There's no rush to fight. They can't escape from our hands." Night Sorrow said with a smile. Hearing the conversation between Night Sorrow and the heavenly concubine, Lin Piaomiao, Detutura, Xue Shi, and the others were very happy. There were only 3 cultivators who had transcended the 9th Emperor Tribulation in the celestial realm. After an entire reincarnation cycle, close to 1 trillion years, there were only 3 cultivators above the 9th Emperor Tribulation: Tranhung, King Yawu, and Elder Duan. Moreover, these 3 had only reached this level in the last 2 eras. Then we'll wait for your news. I have no problem with when to fight. The heavenly concubine said. Night Sorrow, heavenly concubine isn't coming. Are you not going to tell us? Lin Piaomiao glanced at Night Sorrow and said with dissatisfaction, "That's not it. I was organizing my words just now. I was thinking about what to say so that you wouldn't scold me and not worry about me," Yishan explained. "Your intentions are good. We forgive you. 9th Emperor Tribulation. We only thought that you had the potential to become an emperor. Now that I think about it, we really didn't have foresight." Detura said with a smile, "Do you feel a sense of accomplishment when you threaten the Myriad Emperor and kill him if he doesn't marry you?" Sikong Chiyu said with a smile, "Chiyu, my son is already so old. He's already an emperor. How embarrassing it is for you to say that." Detura said with a smile. However, she wasn't embarrassed at all. She was a woman who could let go of things easily. Everyone was happy. Naturally, they drank to celebrate. Night Sorrow, you're in the middle stage of the 8th Emperor Tribulation. It won't take you long to reach the 9th Emperor Tribulation. Aren't you going to wait until you reach the 9th Emperor Tribulation? The heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow and asked, "We're not going to wait anymore. Now that we're strong enough, we can use our strength to turn it into battle results. Black Armor King and the others must be eliminated. Also, there's the Demon Imperial City. Sorry, I have to try and see if I can take down the Demon Imperial City." Night Sorrow looked at Heavenly Concubine and apologized. "You're here again. I don't care about these things. I just want to see the 9 Zones world develop well. When I'm in the mood, I might take in a disciple and leave behind my inheritance. Then, I'll try the God Tribulation. Taking a disciple and leave behind your inheritance? It's better to give birth to one yourself," Yang Lei said with a smile. Chapter 2320. Night Sorrow's true body stabilized his realm, while his battle avatar stared at Black Armor King and the others. Since the 9-domain avatars couldn't leave the 9-domain world, Lin Piaomiao was in charge of preparing for the war. The heavenly concubine was also ready to fight at any time. There were 5 Black Armor Kings. Night Sorrow's true body and avatar could deal with 2 of them. As for the other 3, others had to hold them back and buy him time to kill them. This required King Yawu, the heavenly concubine, and Tranhung. King Yawu received the news and arrived at the 9-domain world. When he saw Night Sorrow, he was stunned for a moment before laughing out of joy and excitement. "Martial Uncle is here. Have a seat." Night Sorrow invited King Yawu to sit down and brewed a pot of tea. After sizing up Night Sorrow again, King Yawu took a sip of tea. "You're not far from the 9 Emperor Tribulation. Are you sure you don't want to wait?" "No, I'm more than twice as strong as when I was fighting in the ancient world. Killing them won't be a problem. Knight Sorrow nodded. Turning your strength into battle results to avoid trouble is the right thing to do. Martial Uncle will return to Night Moon Villa and wait. When you're about to fight, Martial Uncle will inform Lord Tranhung to gather. King Yawu was confident. 100 years ago, when he fought with the ancient cultivators, it wasn't difficult for Night Sorrow to kill Xianhua, Xiancheng, and Lu Shi. At that time, there were other Soul Unity realm ancient cultivators holding them back. Now, the situation was much better. If he attacked again, Black Armor King and the others wouldn't have a chance to live. After King Yawu left, Night Sorrow thought for a moment before leaving the city in the sky and arriving at a mansion in the 9-domain world. Greetings, my lord. A woman in the courtyard bowed. You're welcome. I came to you because I have something for you to do. From today onwards, you will lead your Legion commanders to patrol the area according to this map. Pay attention to the forces circled in red. See if they have violated the rules of the 9 regions World Commander-in-Chief's residence. If they do, capture them and bring them to the 9 regions World Commander-in-Chief's residence. Night Sorrow said to the woman. This woman was Fire Dance. She was once the commander of the Fire Dance Corps during the Doomsday in the Celestial Realm. Now, she was in the 9 Domains world, waiting for Night Sorrow's orders. Don't worry, Realm Lord. Huowu will definitely handle this matter well. Huowu nodded and received the map with both hands. After giving the instructions, Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. He had to make some arrangements. The older generation of the Celestial Realm's 100 races would understand his determination to protect the 9 Domains world. He was just afraid that some of the second-generation young masters would do something excessive. Next, it was time to prepare for war. It was not the 9 Domains world, but the Celestial Realm. Tranhung, King Yawu, and the others knew that when Night Sorrow dealt with the Black Armor King and the others, he would go to the Demon Imperial City to fight the Demon Wing clan. Night Sorrow used a month in the real world to stabilize his realm. During this month, the Celestial Realm had completed their preparations. Night Sorrow's main body came out of seclusion and brought the heavenly concubine to Night Moon Manor. Battle. King Yawu asked when he saw Night Sorrow and the heavenly concubine. Yes. Call Lord Tranhung over. Let's go and deal with the Black Armor King and the others together. Night Sorrow nodded. He was already prepared. King Yawu crushed Tranhung's soul crystal and sent a message. In less than an hour, Tranhung appeared. Nodding at the heavenly concubine, Tranhung looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's progress was astonishing. Since the city lord is here, we should hurry up. Otherwise, the heavenly desolate city will be empty, Night Sorrow said. Then let's go. Tranhung nodded. He was also worried about the safety of the heavenly desolate city. The Demon Wing clan spies had always been active in the Celestial Realm. Of course, if they dealt with the Demon Imperial City, Mo Zhantian, Mo Yuqian, and the other leaders of the Demon Wing clan, the Demon Wing clan would have nothing to rely on. Their spies would be useless. Under Night Sorrow's lead, the group flew towards the Celestial Realm's wasteland to meet up with Night Sorrow's doppelganger. During the flight, Night Sorrow and the others sat down and talked, mainly about the Ancient World Group. Night Sorrow, the crisis in the Ancient World Group has been resolved. The 100 races of the Celestial Realm have not stopped attacking the Ancient World Group. The Heavenly Desolate Army often goes into fight. Because many ancient cultivators escaped last time, news of our strength has spread. Some ancient cultivators no longer dare to come, King Yawu said. There must be someone guarding the ancient world's space passage. When the time comes, we'll take turns. Night Sorrow said, You don't have to worry about these things. Uncle and the city lord will take care of these things, King Yawu said. Yes, you need time to cultivate. We'll take care of these things. Also, thank you for the soul-nourishing herb, Tranhung said. B plus C plus correct. Chapter U. Section B. As the group talked, they were getting closer and closer to the area where Night Sorrow's doppelganger was. After half a day, Night Sorrow's original body led Tranhung and the others to meet up with his doppelganger. How do we fight? Tranhung asked. They're no match for us. There is no doubt about that. What I'm afraid of is that they will burn their blood essence and soul power to escape. That will be troublesome, King Yawu said. Yes, we won't fight to the death with them. They will burn their blood essence, but we won't. It's best if the three of you can hold them back. It's fine if you can't. I can chase after them by following their soul imprints. Also, we have a clairvoyant with us, Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow and the others arrive at the area where Black Armor King and the other spatial treasures were. Let me see if I can kill one of them first. Night Sorrow controlled the fire of merit and wrapped it around Black Armor King's spatial treasure. Then it seeped inside. Black Armor King, who was meditating to recover, was shocked. He hurriedly ran out of the spatial treasure. As soon as Black Armor King came out of the spatial treasure, he was suppressed by the precept domain. Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger used the precept domain to suppress him. Then, two divine spears appeared. Black Armor King blocked the spear that was aimed at his forehead. However, the blood-chilling, evil-slaying spear penetrated his body from behind. At that moment, a long sword flashed out of the void and directly hit the back of Black Armor King's head, cutting it open. It was Tran Hung. After Night Sorrow attacked, she cut through Black Armor King's divine sea. Fire of Merit. Night Sorrow controlled the fire of merit and wrapped it around Black Armor King's spiritual body. Then, the Samsara halberd and the blood-chilling, evil-slaying spear attacked Black Armor King's spiritual body in the fire of soul. Tran Hung, King Yawu, and the heavenly concubine also attacked together. Energy trembled as they attacked Black Armor King's spiritual body. This was a war, not a one-on-one fight. The goal was to kill. Chapter 23-21. As soon as the Black Armor King died, Lai Feng and the others appeared. They felt the energy vibrations and investigated. When they saw the scene of the Black Armor King's death, they all lost their confidence to fight. They left the spatial treasure and ran. I said that once you entered, you would not be able to return. You were destined to die, but you still came in. Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger attacked the two strongest people. Tran Hung also attacked one of them. King Yawu and the heavenly concubine worked together to suppress the remaining one. The battle was originally 4 against 4, but Night Sorrow had a doppelganger, so it was a 5-man team. However, Night Sorrow suppressed 2 of them. At this moment, Night Sorrow's ability to fight above his level was displayed. Every move of the Samsara halberd would send Lai Feng flying, causing him to spit out blood. Lai Feng also wanted to run, but he couldn't. He was suppressed by Night Sorrow's forbidden virtue domain. It was difficult for him to even move. "Let me go," Lai Feng roared. "You are too crazy. You are not on the same side as us. I gave you a few chances, but you didn't cherish them. Kill." Night Sorrow's soul destruction slashed towards Lai Feng's spirit sea. Lai Feng's eyes were filled with fear. Night Sorrow's combat power was too tyrannical. It was unprecedented. It was not recorded in any of the ancient world's inheritances. He didn't even have the courage to fight now, because he saw the Black Armor King die instantly. After losing the will to fight, the result was obvious. In just a moment, Lai Feng's head was smashed by Night Sorrow. The fire of virtue enveloped his soul body. Night Sorrow rushed towards the battle between King Yawu and the heavenly concubine. The forbidden virtue domain suppressed this fast ancient cultivator who was constantly moving and trying to escape. Night Sorrow saw that Tran Hung was the strongest in terms of control. She suppressed her opponent to the point that he couldn't escape. The ancient cultivator fighting King Yawu and the heavenly concubine was faster. His body emitted a red light. If he didn't suppress him, he would run away. That was the sign of burning blood essence. Latest UD chapter B_on carrot to the heavenly concubine, and King Yawu rushed toward the Tran Hung's battle. They knew that the ancient cultivators targeted by Night Sorrow would not be able to escape. They did not need to care about them. They just needed to help the Tran Hung. Suppressed by Night Sorrow's Merit Dao domain, the Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators lost their speed and could not run. In less than 15 minutes, the bodies of the two ancient cultivators were killed by Knight Sorrow's main body and avatar respectively. Together with Lai Feng, the three souls were suppressed by the human emperor's seal in Knight Sorrow's virtue, Daoth domain, and burned by the flames of virtue. Seeing that Tran Hung and the other two had suppressed and severely injured their opponents, Knight Sorrow was no longer in a hurry. His two spears kept attacking the three souls in the virtuous fire. After a short while, the souls of Lai Feng and the other two were all destroyed, leaving behind only the divine infant pearls. Suppress. Knight Sorrow did not attack again. He only used his virtue Dao domain to suppress the last ancient cultivator, allowing Tran Hung and the other two to attack more smoothly. The battle ended very quickly. None of the 5 ancient cultivators escaped. In the past, I've killed Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators before. Back then, I had to fight for a very long time. The fastest one had to fight for 3 days before he died. However, in the blink of an eye, 5 Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators were annihilated. Chen Huang lamented. It's mainly because of Knight Sorrow's tyrannical combat strength, King Yawu said with a smile. The battle ended smoothly. None of the Black Armor King and the other 4 escaped. It was a great victory. The virtuous fire is indeed tyrannical when it comes to destroying souls. Knight Sorrow smiled and took out a few jars of wine. With the crisis of the ancient cultivators resolved, only the Demon Winged clan was left. The pressure was much lighter. Everyone was happy. Naturally, they drank to celebrate. The spoils of war were also divided. Knight Sorrow took 2 of the 5 spoils of war. He also took the bodies of the Black Armor King and another demonic beast ancient cultivator. He still needed demonic beast blood essence. After the battle ended, Knight Sorrow felt that his power of virtue had increased by a lot. It was a great victory. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, the heavenly concubine left. Knight Sorrow and the others discussed attacking the Demon Wing clan. She did not want to participate. Knight Sorrow, there's no need to ask Sect Elder Duan to come back. The main problem in this battle is whether we can break the Demon Imperial City. If we can, then Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian's combat strength will be far inferior to the ancient cultivators, King Yawu said. Yes, the key is whether we can break the Demon Imperial City. Gather everyone. If we can break it, then we will directly disperse the Demon Wing clan and wipe them out, Knight Sorrow said. When the people of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm gathered, Mo Yuching received the news and hurriedly told Demon Nine Clouds. The Demon Imperial City is most likely in danger. Let the Heaven Wasteland soldiers under your control carry this spatial treasure into Heaven Wasteland. Demon Nine Clouds took out a spatial treasure and handed it to Mo Yuching. Then he and his doppelganger entered. The 100 races of the Celestial Realm started a war. Demon Nine Clouds felt that it was a crisis for the Demon Imperial City and also an opportunity for her to return. If the Demon Imperial City was not broken, then the Demon Wing clan would have an advantage in this war. Her awakening and recovery would not be a problem. But if the Demon Imperial City was broken, then the Demon Wing clan would have to lie low and wait for her to wake up and return. Mo Yuching arranged everything. Demon Nine Clouds' spatial treasure was carried by the Heaven Wasteland soldiers and smoothly entered Heaven Wasteland. Finding that the key figures of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm had not yet arrived and the people were still gathered, Demon Nine Clouds commanded the Heaven Wasteland soldiers under his control to leave the group. Then they came out of the spatial treasure and flew toward the Demon Imperial City. Back in the Demon Imperial City, Demon Nine Clouds looked at the huge Demon Imperial City and felt a little emotional. This was something deep in her memory. The moment Mo Jiyun appeared, the aura of a superior being emitted from his body caused all the devil-winged race to prostrate themselves on the ground. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian also appeared and bowed in greeting. Even though they were both at the Divine Soul Unity Realm, they still couldn't withstand the aura of Mo Jiyun. The attack of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm has begun. Now, except for the two of you, everyone else retreat, Demon Nine Clouds ordered. Yes, Mo Zhantien and Mo Yutian bowed and accepted the order. It was not difficult for the Demon Wing clan to move because most of them had already retreated. Then, the Demon Imperial City became an empty city. My lord, can the Demon Imperial City not be defended? Mo Zhantien asked. It will be difficult. Knight Sorrow is the virtuous emperor, and his combat strength is not inferior to the former Sky Emperor Ji Dao, Star King, Flame Emperor Lai Yin, Golden Dragon King Tian Shurtian, Shura Empress Yi Tianxin, and the others. Therefore, we must be prepared to break the city, Demon Nine Cloud said. She was well aware of Knight Sorrow's strength. Mo Zhantien and Mo Yutian were happy, but also stressed. They were happy because of Demon Nine Clouds' return and stressed because the Demon Imperial City, which had remained unbroken for thousands of cycles, was facing the crisis of being breached. Chapter 23-22. Mo Zhantien nodded. He knew that Demon Nine Clouds had considered everything carefully. This way, they would be able to minimize their losses. It was the best way to preserve their strength in the current situation where they were no match for them. Who was in charge of the array of Devil Imperial City now? Demon Nine Clouds looked at Mo Zhantien and Mo Yutian and asked. This subordinate is in charge. Mo Zhantien bowed. He was a cultivator of the Divine Soul Unison realm, but his status was still very low in front of Demon Nine Clouds. Demon Nine Clouds was the most outstanding cultivator of the Devil Wing clan in the previous reincarnation. He was the undisputed leader of the Devil Wing clan. They are here. You will control the array to defend. If they break through the defense, return to this alternate dimension. Demon Nine Clouds instructed, My lord, even if a few of them break through, their strength will be greatly suppressed. Can we try to fight? Mo Zhantien was unwilling to give up. No, if we can defend it, this seat will not give up on the Imperial City. You might not know this, but some time ago, many ancient cultivators of the Divine Soul Unison realm attacked the Celestial realm, but they were all defeated. Especially that Knight Sorrow. He is extremely strong in fighting beyond his realm. He has no difficulty in killing Divine Soul Unison realm experts. If he is here to attack, it means that he has already dealt with those ancient cultivators. If we fight head-on, it will only increase the casualties. We will not be able to defend ourselves. Demon Nine Clouds said. She had analyzed that Knight Sorrow would definitely prioritize the ancient cultivators. When he attacked the Devil Imperial City, the ancient cultivators would definitely be dealt with. We will do as my lord says. Mo Zhantien nodded. He knew that Demon Nine Clouds was right. Endure. Don't be constrained by the gains and losses of one city or one pool. When this seat returns, the entire Celestial Realm and the Nine Domains world will be ours. Divine Emperor Realm. The final outcome of the war between the 100 tribes of the Celestial Realm and our Demon Wing clan depends on which side has a Divine Emperor Realm practitioner first. And the first one to reach the Divine Emperor Realm must be me, Demon Nine Clouds. Demon Nine Clouds said coldly. After hearing Demon Nine Clouds' words, both Mo Zhantien and Mo Yutian took 2 steps back because they felt the pressure. The forces of the Celestial Realm gathered and marched directly to the Tianwang Mountain. Tran Hung and King Yawu had arrived. Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao had also arrived with the First Army and the God-Slaying Squad. I can't see a single member of the Demon Wing clan, Tran Hung said. The Demon Winged clan has spies in the Celestial Realm. Their original bodies and avatars are in the Celestial Realm and the Demon Imperial City, respectively. News travels very quickly. We can't hide our movements from them. Perhaps they have spies in the Heaven Wasteland army behind us, but so what? In the face of absolute strength, these are useless, Knight Sorrow said. Huh, these words are so domineering. Uncle has been waiting for an entire reincarnation for the 100 tribes of the Celestial Realm to say these words. Now it's possible, King Yawu said. Then let's go. The army will march directly to the border, Knight Sorrow said. Following Knight Sorrow's order, the forces of the 100 tribes of the Celestial Realm began to march. Because it was a large group, their speed was relatively slow. It took them 3 days to reach the Demon Imperial City. In the Demon Imperial City, a huge head stood there. Black energy emitted from its 7 orifices and intertwined to form a large formation. Asterisk head, hashtag head, it's this thing. Because of this damn thing, the 100 tribes of the Celestial Realm have been attacked by the Demon Wing Clan like live targets. Today, if we break the Demon Imperial City, the situation will change. The Celestial Realm will completely belong to the 100 tribes of the Celestial Realm, the Golden Dragon King said. Lord Golden Dragon King, Tran Hung, King Yuwu, and I will attack in a while. You guys watch the troops. If there's a situation, you can make the decision to advance or retreat based on the timing. We can't take any risks, Knight Sorrow said to the Golden Dragon King. The Golden Dragon King nodded. He knew that the key to this battle was whether or not they could break the Demon Imperial City. At this moment, Demon Nine Clouds was watching with Enchanting and Immortality at the eyes of the Demon Imperial City. They're quite fast. We'll watch. If we can't hold on, we'll retreat. Demon Nine Clouds said. Her eyes were fixed on Knight Sorrow. She knew that the moment she left, she and Knight Sorrow were mortal enemies. She knew that Knight Sorrow was determined to defend the Celestial Realm and the 9 Domains world. Demon Nine Clouds also saw Jun Xuanji, but her eyes did not stop. She continued to look for the Heavenly Concubine. After looking around and not seeing the Heavenly Concubine, Demon Nine Clouds shook her head. She knew that the Heavenly Concubine had left the Demon Wing Clan, but she was still unwilling to fight with them. Taking a deep breath, Knight Sorrow flew toward the Demon Imperial City with the Samsara Heavenly Halberd on his back. Tran Hung and King Yuwu followed behind him. They could not break the Demon Imperial City, but they had to protect Knight Sorrow. They could not let Knight Sorrow get hurt while he was breaking the array. As Knight Sorrow and the other 2 approached, the Demon Imperial City's Great Barrier Array unleashed its power. Wave after wave of energy rushed toward the 3 of them. How dare you be so impudent with the power of demons and monsters? Retreat! Knight Sorrow shouted. He then released his Merit Taboo Precept Domain. Emperor-level Merit Energy supported the peak high-level Taboo Energy Precept Domain. Suddenly, the Precept Domain was surrounded by golden light. The black energy, or rather, the destructive energy, of the Demon Imperial City's Great Barrier Array was repelled. If the Demon Imperial City's Great Barrier Array was seawater, then Knight Sorrow's Golden Precept Domain was an immovable rock. It was a clash between gold and black energy. It was a clash between righteous energy and evil energy. After withstanding the impact of the Great Barrier Array, Knight Sorrow continued to move forward. He then arrived in front of the Demon Imperial City's huge skull. I'll break through wherever you're hard. I'll give you 8 holes in the 7 Fiend Array today, Knight Sorrow growled. His Golden Precept Domain wrapped around Tran Hung and King Yuwu and flew into the sky. After flying for a while, Knight Sorrow and the other 2 arrived at the skull's glabella. Knight Sorrow's clone appeared and used his Precept Domain to protect Tran Hung and King Yuwu. His main body flew toward the skull's glabella. The Samsara Heavenly Halberd in his hand emitted an intense golden light. It was a golden flame. It was the Emperor-level Merit Fire. It was mixed with the Taboo Primordial Energy. It was Knight Sorrow's all-out attack. As the energy sputtered, a huge hole appeared in the Demon Imperial City's skull's glabella. There were also cracks extending in all directions. Thousand Realms Defense Body. Knight Sorrow used the Thousand Realms Defense Body to block the sputtering energy produced by the collision of the 2 energies. Knight Sorrow, who had been sent flying backward, charged forward again and attacked the skull's skull. Let's see how hard you are. Primordial Annihilation / My lord, I'll attack him and distract him from breaking the Demon Imperial City's defense. Mo Yuqian said anxiously when he saw Knight Sorrow breaking the Demon Imperial City's defense. Chapter 23:23. The ancestor of the Demon Wings clan had fallen during the God-destroying tribulation. Because of his strength, his body and soul were destroyed, leaving behind only his skull. In other words, his skull was at the level of a deity emperor. The defense of the demon imperial city was at the level of a deity emperor. Of course, it might be lacking, but it wouldn't be too far off. In other words, Night Sorrow was fighting against a deity emperor's defense. As the bombardment grew more intense, Night Sorrow let out continuous howls. Every howl was accompanied by an earth-shaking explosion. There were only 3 experts in the demon imperial city: Demon Nine Clouds, enchanting, and Immerse. If it were an ordinary cultivator, they would have been injured or killed. Enchanting controlled the energy of the demon imperial city to defend with all his might. At the same time, he attacked Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's 1,000 worlds defensive body had reached the level of 12 worlds. When the energy of the formation got close to him, it was banished into his Sumeru space. Therefore, he didn't care about defense and attacked with all his might. After 20 strikes, the center of the demon imperial city's skull had caved in. Cracks appeared and extended in all directions. This guy didn't use the position of the 7 evils. He used brute force to break the formation. This is much more difficult. He's just showing us. If he used the position of 7 evils, the demon imperial city would have been broken. What would you do, Lord? Enchanting's face was pale. Controlling the formation to defend and attack consumed a lot of his soul power. Do you think he doesn't know that doing this will increase the difficulty of breaking the formation? If he used the position of 7 evils, the demon imperial city would only be broken temporarily. We can repair it in the future. However, he destroyed the formation and destroyed the ancestors' divine court. The defense of the demon imperial city is really destroyed. It can't be repaired. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Give up. Sighing, Immerse shook his head at Enchanting and Immerse and left with the 2 of them. Once they were in the city, they entered the alternate dimension beneath the sacrificial tower and concealed the entrance of the space tunnel. That was a small spatial world refined by her true body. It was very difficult for others to discover it. This was also the reason why she dared to hide here. With no one in charge of the city defense array, Night Sorrow's attacks became smoother. On the 49th strike, there was an earth-shattering explosion. The skull of the city defense array, which only had 7 orifices, had an 8th hole. Night Sorrow had destroyed the divine court. As soon as the Devil Imperial City was breached, black energy shot up into the sky, breaking through the clouds, tearing the void, and entering the turbulence of the void. The skull was clearly visible to the cultivators of the 100 races of the celestial realm. It's broken. The unbreakable fortress has been destroyed by the human emperor. As the energy of the matrix in the demonic imperial city dissipated, the cultivators of the hundreds of races in the celestial realm roared. They were so excited that they had just witnessed a historical moment. At this moment, auspicious clouds appeared above Night Sorrow's head. Breaking the Devil Wing race's unbreakable fortress was a great merit to the celestial realm and the 100 races of the celestial realm. It allowed Night Sorrow's newly ascended merit cultivation to rise by another level, reaching the middle stage of the Merit Emperor realm. This wasn't to say that it was easy to raise one's merit power. Breaking the Devil Imperial City was the dream of the 100 races of the celestial realm for thousands of reincarnations. However, they had never been able to obtain it. From this, it could be seen how difficult it was. No one had done it for countless years, but Night Sorrow had done it. Therefore, the heavens judged that it was a great merit. Domineering. This is what it means to be unparalleled. Jun Xuanji muttered softly. This was because that man had once been her man. Night Sorrow waved his sleeves and collected all the golden, auspicious clouds into his body. City Lord, Martial Uncle, let's go first. Let me rest for a bit. After all, the matter has already been decided. All right, the matter has already been decided. Tran Hung laughed loudly. He was extremely happy. Originally, he thought that when Night Sorrow broke the city, The experts of the Demon Wing clan would attack and interfere. He and King Yawu were going to have a big battle. However, after being nervous for half a day, no one from the Demon Wing clan came out. If he had known this would happen, he and King Yawu would have helped Knight Sorrow break the city. That way, Knight Sorrow wouldn't have to work so hard alone. After returning to the camp of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, Knight Sorrow's doppelganger merged with his original body and refined the Myriad auspicious clouds. Knight Sorrow cultivated while the others were happily chatting. Misty, your husband has broken the Devil Imperial City. This is the greatest achievement in the history of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. His merit power has increased once again. This is a double blessing, King Yawu said with a smile. Yes, this is indeed something to be happy about. The Devil Imperial City was a tumor in the hearts of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. Now, it has finally been dealt with. Lynn Misty's face was filled with joy because her husband had accomplished something that countless predecessors couldn't. Next, Knight Sorrow doesn't need to fight. Once the energy dissipates, we will go in and flatten everything in the Devil Imperial City. However, they have already escaped. Tranhung said. When the Devil Imperial City was broken, Knight Sorrow, Tranhung, and King Yawu all checked it out. After finding no one, they decided to retreat and rest. The energy around the Devil Imperial City completely dissipated. Tranhung and King Yawu let Lin Misty and a few people from the Humanitarian League guard Knight Sorrow. They brought the Heaven Wasteland Army and God Capital Army into the Devil Imperial City. After meditating for 6 hours, Knight Sorrow opened his eyes. The power of a middle-class emperor had completely merged into his body. Where Lord Tranhung and Marshal Uncle? Knight Sorrow looked around and asked. They said to let you rest for a while. They will take care of the rest. Lin Misty said with a smile. There's no battle. Let's just wait. Knight Sorrow nodded and took out a jar of wine to drink. When Knight Sorrow finished the jar of wine, Emperor Tang returned. Human Emperor, the city lord told me to come back and tell you that the Devil Imperial City is empty. The teleportation crystals on the teleportation formation have been removed. Our people cannot enter the Heaven Wasteland domain. It seems that they have already mentally prepared themselves to break the city. If they can't hold on, they will retreat. They are waiting for the Devil Ancestor to revive and leave everything to the final battle, Knight Sorrow said. Nine Clouds understands us as well as she understands herself. So, she has already made arrangements, Jun Xuanji said. Knight Sorrow nodded. He understood that in terms of information, he, as the commander of the Celestial Realm's 100 races, could not compare to Demon Nine Clouds. He only understood the Celestial Realm's 100 races and did not understand the Devil-Winged race. On the other hand, Demon Nine Clouds knew himself and his enemy. It seems that this is not a great victory. Knight Sorrow shook his head. It is a great victory. For countless years, the reason why the Celestial Realm's 100 races could not win was because the Devil-Winged race had the unbreakable Devil Imperial City. The Devil Imperial City was the reason why the Devil-Winged race attacked us. It was their foundation. So what if they didn't kill anyone? Their base is gone. Their foundation is gone, the Golden Dragon King said. That's true. We have already obtained a portion of the fruits of victory. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that this was not the time to discourage everyone. The Devil Imperial City had been in everyone's hearts for too long. Solving the Devil Imperial City was solving their problem. Chapter 23-24. Knight Sorrow, we haven't seen a single living person, Tranhung said. That's normal. Demon Nine Clouds knows us too well, just like she knows herself, so she made arrangements long ago. They dismantled the transmission crystal of the transmission formation in advance, which means that there are still people on Heaven Wasteland. But it's impossible to catch one person on such a big planet, Knight Sorrow said. That means they can set up a transmission formation at any time, plug in the transmission crystal, and counterattack us. King Yawu shook his head. The Demon Wing clan still had the initiative. Yes, the initiative is in their hands. We don't need to spend so much effort to break in a Heaven Wasteland domain. Once this era is over, Heaven Wasteland domain will be broken. Whether we fight or not, Heaven Wasteland domain will be gone. There are probably no Demon Wing clan in Heaven Wasteland domain now. They will find another domain to survive. Night Sorrow explained his thoughts. Good analysis. They have thought of all the problems and dealt with everything. Tran Hung nodded. Then we have nothing to do now. White Tiger King looked at Tran Hung, King Yawu, and Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow pointed to the Demon Imperial City. It's not that we have nothing to do. Let's get rid of him. Looking at Night Sorrow, the others nodded. Everyone knew that the Demon Imperial City could not be left. It was a hidden danger. When the Demon Wing clan returned, they would clean it up. Even if its defense was not as strong as before, it was still a fortress. We tried just now, but we couldn't move it, Emperor Tang said. Uncle also tried a few times, but it didn't work. The skull is very strong. It's a bit unrealistic to completely destroy it. King Yawu nodded. Leave it to me. Our people will clean up Heaven Wasteland and bring it back. With the influence of the Demon Imperial City, Heaven Wasteland is not suitable for the people of the Celestial Realm to live in for a while, Night Sorrow said. Clan Elderlin, please arrange this matter for the clan elders. Night Sorrow needs to deal with the Devil Imperial City. King Yawu, and I need to accompany him. We need to set up the teleportation portal. Send someone to the Ancient World's portal and tell Elder Duan about it. Then, stay there and inform us if there's an emergency. We can go over at any time, Tran Hung said to Lin Piao. City Lord, my doppelganger is with Sect Elder Duan. Sect Elder Duan already knew the news and was very happy, Pu Luo said with a smile. Yeah, we should be happy. Pu Luo, you don't have to run around. Take some men with you and help us clean up the Demon Imperial City. You can also communicate with the passage of the Ancient World, Tran Hung said to Pu Luo. Pu Luo nodded. He also wanted to stay here. Then, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm moved according to the clan elders' arrangement. Pu Luo stayed with the First Army and the God-Slaying Squad to continue cleaning up the Demon Imperial City. The rest of the people cleaned up Tianwan. They had to eliminate all the Demon Wing clan on Tianwan. After following Tran Hung and the others into the Demon Imperial City, Night Sorrow went to the eye socket of the giant skull. He then sat down cross-legged. As he channeled his energy, the golden flame on his body shot up into the sky and burned the skull. As the fire of virtue burned, the skull of the Demon Wing clan ancestor was destroyed little by little. Feeling that it was effective, Night Sorrow's doppelganger emerged from his body and went to the other eye socket of the skull. He attacked both places at the same time. Tran Hung and King Yawu were guarding Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger respectively. They knew that nothing would happen, but they were still worried. Now, that Night Sorrow was the backbone of the Celestial Realm. The next person to fight the demon ancestor could only be Night Sorrow. Translator, Nioibo Studio Editor. Nioibo Studio in the alternate dimension. Zhu Jiyun was looking at the crystal ball in front of him. His eyes were filled with killing intent. It was a concentric crystal ball. The other one was at the top of the skull of the Demon Imperial City. When it was stimulated by energy, it could reflect the entire situation of the Demon Imperial City. Don't leave any leeway. Don't give us a chance. Give us a chance to slaughter the Celestial Realm. Mo Yutian said with hatred. He had just come out of seclusion and was already at the Divine Soul Unity Realm. Middle-class Merit Emperor. The Demon Imperial City has become a stepping stone for his merit cultivation. If we knew this would happen, we should have destroyed it ourselves. Not enough boldness. Our foresight and boldness are still not enough. Demon 9, Clouds muttered softly. My lord, this is a weapon forged for you. Although it is not as good as the Great Desolate War Halberd, it is still the best material of my race. Mo Zhantian took out a war halberd from his spatial treasure and handed it to Demon 9 Clouds. Holding a weapon that was almost the same as Night Sorrow's reincarnation sky halberd, Demon 9 Clouds shook his head. The weapon was good, but it was still different from the Great Desolate War halberd that he used before. My lord, this subordinate is incompetent and can only do this. Noticing Demon Nine Clouds' eyes, Immortality knew that Demon Nine Clouds was very dissatisfied. Don't worry. Nourish it with your own energy and it can be used. Don't feel guilty or blame yourself. It wasn't easy for you to defend the Demon Winged race to this day. The Demon Winged race's decline isn't because you didn't do your best. It is because the 100 races of the celestial realm have truly produced a great figure. Demon Nine Clouds said to Immortality and Immortality, My lord, Gentian really doesn't understand. How did that fellow's merit cultivation and taboo attribute come about? Is he really blessed by the heavens? Immortality asked in confusion. Knight's sorrow might be this seat's greatest enemy in this life. In fact, he is also this seat's best friend. If it wasn't for my race, this seat really wouldn't want to come to this step. Blessed by the heavens? That is one of the reasons. Right now, it is a great era where the old and new supreme worlds are replacing each other. He was born in this great era, and with his own hard work, he was blessed by the heavens, allowing him to have his current achievements. Apart from the different races, he is a person worthy of respect. You don't understand his world, and you don't know his efforts. No matter what happens in the future, he is already a legend. Demon Nine Clouds said. After hearing Demon Nine Clouds' words, Immortality and Immortality didn't say anything. After Demon Nine Clouds appeared, Immortality had asked Immortality to gather information. He knew about the origins of Demon Nine Clouds and the relationship between Demon Nine Clouds and Night Sorrow. The hateful thing is that Immortality became a traitor and helped Night Sorrow solve many of his problems, causing us to be passive. Immortality said somewhat angrily. Immortality, she is not a traitor. In this reincarnation cycle, she has contributed a lot to the Demon Winged race. She was captured by Night Sorrow and actually fought to the end for the Demon Winged race. She had no choice but to sever her karma and start a new life. She doesn't owe the Demon Winged race anything, nor did she let anyone down. It's just that from the bottom of your heart, you are not willing to accept it. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Chapter 23-25. That's your intuition. Let me put it this way. If Immortality had betrayed us, the Demon Imperial City would have been destroyed long ago. Our people wouldn't have had the chance to retreat safely. As for Night Sorrow's Thousand Realms defensive body, I don't know the details, but it might have come from the World Tree. You should know that the World Tree's defense is the Thousand Realms defensive body. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Immortality and Immortality didn't say anything. Their feelings for the heavenly concubine were complicated. I used to hate her, but she didn't come when the celestial realm came to destroy the Demon Imperial City. This shows that she still cares about old times, so I'll let go. In the future, she will be her, and we will be us. From another point of view, even if we lose and die in battle, the Demon Wing clan can survive in another way with the heavenly concubine around, Demon Nine Clouds said. Immortality and Immortality nodded. Some things were clear to them, and they could think it through. Immortality instructed them not to wake her up unless there was something important. Then, his main body entered his spatial treasure and began cultivating. His clone sat beside his main body, constantly using his soul power to nourish the soul fragments within his main body. If he could awaken his main body without losing his clone, Immortality was unwilling to lose it. Immortality and Immortality looked at each other. They still had hope in their hearts because the demon ancestor was strong enough. Once the demon ancestor's original body woke up, the Demon Wing clan would have a chance. Night Sorrow continued to cultivate as usual. He continued to release the fire of virtue to burn the skulls of the Demon Imperial City. His true body and doppelganger continued to sink because the skull beneath him was annihilated. Time slipped away in this state. In the blink of an eye, a few years had passed. 2 grooves appeared on the Demon Imperial City's skull from the eyes to the chin. They were burned by Knight Sorrow's original body and doppelganger. From the eyes to the ground, Knight Sorrow took more than 5 years. After returning to the camp, Knight Sorrow had a drink with Tran Hung and King Yawu. Knight Sorrow, the demon Imperial City's skull, can't be recovered. We'll clean up the rest. Take your family back. Tran Hung said, I won't go back first. My original body enter the spatial treasure to cultivate. My doppelganger burned the skull's face. Knight Sorrow glanced at the huge skull. The skull. The skull. The demon Imperial City. In 9 years, Knight Sorrow took down the facade of the demon Imperial City skull. The other races in the celestial realm also cleared out the demon Imperial City. They cleared out all the buildings. The only thing left was the cracked statue of the heavenly concubine. Lin Piao sent people to take it back to the ethereal Imperial City. The heavenly concubine had done a great service to the races in the celestial realm and the Nine Zones world. Therefore, the statue should be kept. Knight Sorrow, Tran Hung, and King Yawu all supported this. In the hearts of Tran Hung and King Yawu, the heavenly concubine used to be an opponent. That was a matter of standpoint. There was no personal grudge. After the heavenly concubine came to the Nine Zones world, the past grudges were over. Later on, the heavenly concubine fought against the ancient cultivators for the celestial realm. This was a great service to the celestial realm. They had to thank her. After the demon Imperial City was taken care of, Knight Sorrow planned to leave. King Yawu wanted to stay. However, Knight Sorrow and Tran Hung disagreed. The Tianwang region is not suitable for the development of the races in the celestial realm. There is no point in staying. Most importantly, once the demon ancestor returns, you will become a live target. You will be in danger. Tran Hung explained why they disagreed. Okay, then we will listen to you. Let's go back. This damn thing is completely taken care of. King Yawu nodded. The face of the giant skull of the demon Imperial City was empty. The face had been sent to the Tianhuang City by the Council of Elders. It was sent to the space at the bottom of the Tianhuang Tower to be suppressed. In other words, as long as the Tianhuang City was not destroyed, the skull of the demon Imperial City would be missing. It should be said that as long as the Tianhuang Tower was not destroyed, the Tianhuang City and the Tianhuang Tower could not be compared. The Tianhuang Tower was Knight Sorrow's treasure now. Besides, even if the skull was taken out, the demon Imperial City could not be completely restored. An unbreakable fortress was the past. Everyone in the celestial realm retreated, leaving behind the missing skull, which was constantly making all kinds of screeching sounds in the wind. 10 years. From the attack to the retreat, the races in the celestial realm used a whole 10 years to destroy the demon Imperial City. Knight Sorrow's original body had been cultivating in seclusion for 5 years in real time. He had accelerated his cultivation for more than 300 years. His chi realm had reached the middle stage of the tribulation of the 8 emperors. Head J** hair during the confrontation with the skull, Knight Sorrow had been affected by the energy impact. His Wuji attribute, which had been stuck for a long time, had advanced to the 9th level monarch realm, the Emperor Tribulation. Knight Sorrow's taboo attribute had also advanced to the peak. Of course, there was still a long way to go for the Wuji attribute to advance from the Emperor Tribulation to the Emperor Tribulation. That was also the path of Knight Sorrow's taboo attribute from the peak to the peak. However, there is only one bottleneck on this path, which was the bottleneck from the tribulation of the 9 emperors to the Emperor Tribulation. Before that, it could be continuously improved. Soon, Knight Sorrow knew that he was getting closer and closer to the peak. When his chi realm reached the tribulation of the 9 emperors, then he could develop towards the divine soul unity realm. Tran Hung and King Yawu also knew about Knight Sorrow's situation. When Knight Sorrow reached the divine soul unity realm, he would not be afraid of a half-step divine emperor. The 100 races of the celestial realm returned to the heavenly desolate city, relying on the strong defense of the city. Even if the demon wing clan came back, they would not be able to cross this line of defense. Of course, the demon ancestor's attack was another matter. Lord Tranhung, Lord Marshal Uncle, then I will go home. If there is anything, send me a message. I will come over at any time, Night Sorrow said to Tranhung and King Yawu when they reached the heavenly desolate city. Okay, after so many years, you must be tired. Although the demon ancestor will awaken, it will take a long time. You should relax during this time and slowly stabilize your cultivation. Tranhung nodded to Night Sorrow. Then, Night Sorrow brought his wife and children, as well as the god-slaying team, back to the Night Moon Villa of the Ethereal Dynasty. In the villa, the heavenly concubine stood with her hands behind her back, looking at her own sculpture. Looking at your own sculpture, what do you think? Lin Piamiao asked. Hee. Everyone is very rational. I thought that many people would try to smash her into pieces. The heavenly concubine smiled. Chapter 23-26. At this moment, the cracks on the heavenly concubine statue were indeed much smaller. Night Sorrow and the others understood that the heavenly concubine's contribution to the celestial realm was acknowledged by the heavens. The cracks on the heavenly concubine statue were smaller when it reached Night Moon Villa. You will get your rewards for your efforts, Night Sorrow said with a smile. You guys left for 10 years. I was bored to death, the heavenly concubine said with a smile. Now that you're back, it should be peaceful for a while. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the Demon Wing clan would not appear for a while. The next time they appeared would be when the demon ancestor awakened, and when he was confident. After resting for 2 days in Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array to the ancient world passage next to Evil Punisher. Seeing Night Sorrow, Sect Elder Duan was very happy. He knew that the Demon Imperial City had been breached, and he also saw the memory crystal ball. He knew that today's good situation came from Night Sorrow's efforts. Tranhung and King Yawu were very strong, but they could not break the Demon Imperial City. The Demon Imperial City had been through thousands of cycles of wind and rain, which proved its defensive power. Sect Elder Duan, have the ancient cultivators made any moves recently? Night Sorrow asked after sitting down. Some ancient cultivators are approaching. They probably did not hear about the previous war, but there are no large groups, Sect Elder Duan said with a smile. Now that everything was stable, he was in a good mood. The situation is not bad, but we can't let our guard down. The Black Armor King and the others brought too many people. After these people escaped, they will spread the news. It's true that it will create a deterrent effect, but there are many cultivators who are confident. There are also many who don't want to admit defeat. If there is another battle, then the ones who will appear will be true experts, said Yishan. You are right. We must be prepared for danger in times of peace. Sect Elder Duan nodded. Then I will have to trouble you here, Sect Elder Duan, Night Sorrow said with a smile. \% and what are you talking about? For the stability of the celestial realm, every cultivator should contribute. You have contributed more. Sect Elder Duan shook his head. Then Night Sorrow said that he wanted to go back to the 9 domains world to cultivate. In your 1,000 years of life, the 700 years of sleep was the easiest. The rest of the time, you worked hard. But you will reach the soul realm. You just need to accumulate and accumulate. You do not need to work, Sect Elder said. No one doubted whether Yishang could reach the divine soul unity realm, because his body had already reached the tribulation of the 9 emperors. His true chi cultivation and soul realm would follow closely behind under the pull of the path of strength. After his true chi cultivation and soul realm reached the tribulation of the 9 emperors, Yishang could consider breaking through to the divine soul unity realm. I really need a rest. I owe my family too much. I need to spend time with them. Also, I am here to give something to the Grand Elder. Night Sorrow took out a small bundle of soul-nurturing grass and handed it to Sect Elder Duan. This is soul-nurturing grass. Sect Elder Duan took the soul-nurturing grass and sniffed it. He knew about the soul-nurturing grass. He knew that Night Sorrow gave King Yawu and Tran Hung some soul-nurturing grass. However, he did not mind. Good steel should be used on the blade. Other than Night Sorrow, only Tran Hung and King Yawu had the chance to reach the god, destroying tribulation in the celestial realm. I was busy a while ago, Night Sorrow said. I did not give it to the Grand Elder. Also, I gave some to my uncle and Tran Hung. I was worried that if I collected too much, it would hurt the roots of the soul-nurturing grass. Night Sorrow, thank you. Sect Elder Duan took out a jar of wine and drank with Night Sorrow. He told Sect Elder Duan to send him a message if he needed anything. Night Sorrow went to the teleport device. The celestial realm's races are rising. With the world tree, the celestial realm will not be destroyed. What can the wind and rain do? Sect Elder Duan mumbled as he watched Night Sorrow teleport away. Yes, the celestial realm's races are rising. Blood Kirin King came down from the teleport device. He teleported in the opposite direction of Night Sorrow. He did not see Night Sorrow, but he heard what Sect Elder Duan said. Haha, come, let's have a drink. Sect Elder Duan kept the soul-nurturing grass. He knew that everyone would not mind some things, but he could not say anything about the soul-nurturing grass. Also, Night Sorrow could give it to whoever he wanted. That was Night Sorrow's business. If he gave it, it was a favor. If he did not give it, it was his duty. Grand Elder also knew that there was not much soul-nurturing grass. He had to use it where it was most needed. Night Sorrow went to Night Moon Villa. He brought all his family members, including Lan Ing and Red E, back to the Nine Domains world. Haha, I feel much better. After exiting the Nine Domains world's teleport device, Yang lay stretched. She knew about the Demon Nine Clouds, but she had confidence in Night Sorrow. She knew that if Night Sorrow had time, he could solve all these problems. Yes, it is so comfortable in our own territory, Sikong Chiyu said happily. After telling the others to go home, Night Sorrow went to the world tree. When Night Sorrow arrived, a branch of the world tree drooped down and swayed in front of him. Night Sorrow smiled and shook the branch. He knew that the world tree was greeting him. The world tree had intelligence. Although she was still young and immature, she could feel Night Sorrow's immense power of merit. Therefore, she instinctively felt close to him. Live well. Don't be in a hurry to grow. You have a lot of time. Night Sorrow smiled. After checking, everything was normal. Night Sorrow went to the world origin and asked about the situation. The Nine Domains world was in a period of rapid development. It would connect with some of the surrounding worlds. Therefore, Night Sorrow wanted to understand the situation of the surrounding worlds. The world origin told Night Sorrow that because the Nine Domains world was expanding, it was indeed connected to some worlds. The aura of some of these worlds was still being identified. They still needed to check if they were evil worlds. Then I will have to trouble you, World Sovereign. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the world origin. The world origin moved slightly, avoiding Yi Chang's cupped fist salute. World Sovereign, what are you doing? Night Sorrow was stunned. In the Nine Domains world, I am the world origin. I am noble, but I am the same as you, the world lord of the origin. However, it's different now that you've become the virtuous emperor. No matter which world you go to, the world's origin will have to obey your orders. This is the prestige of the virtuous emperor, the world's origin body explained. We don't need to do this. The Nine Domains world is a big family. World Sovereign is the leader of this big family. Night Sorrow smiled. But the World Lord is the most capable person in this big family. The Nine Domains world origin smiled. Chapter 23-27. After greeting the world tree once more, Night Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. With the development of the Nine Regions world and the deliberate actions of the world origin, the cliff where the city in the sky was located had risen from the ground. It was now a true city in the sky. Below the cliff was a lingering cloud formed by dense energy. Below the cloud was a vast and boundless lake. There was a pleasure boat floating on the lake. It was Father Gu, who was fishing. After returning home, Knight Sorrow congratulated his parents and grandfather. In the 10 years that he had been away, there were people from a Yi family who had entered the imperial capital one after another. Apart from his parents, Yi Linghuan and Yi Lingxie had entered the imperial capital one after another. "Where's sixth uncle? I haven't seen him in a long time," Knight Sorrow asked after greeting his parents and grandfather. In the Yi family, the first person he had come into contact with was King Lingxie and Yi Lingxie. Their relationship was also the best. He's here. I knew that you were back, so I ran over. It's rare that you're still thinking about sixth uncle." While Knight Sorrow was speaking, Yi Lingxie appeared. He went down the teleportation array and arrived at the mansion in 2 flashes. "Congratulations, sixth uncle." Knight Sorrow and his wife cupped their hands towards Yi Lingxie. "Don't be like this. Knight Sorrow, you're the Myriad Emperor. How can you greet others so casually?" Yi Lingxie stretched out his hand and stopped Knight Sorrow. "What are you saying, sixth uncle? No matter how accomplished Knight Sorrow is, I'm still your grandnephew," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Everyone sat down, and Yi Qingyan made tea for everyone. In the city in the sky, there weren't many servants. The gardeners and street cleaners were all taken care of by Yi Wuyo and Father Gu. Yu Qing also planted some vegetables. "I was wondering, some people from the Medicine Valley entered the imperial capital one after another. Our night moon shouldn't fall behind. Now, there are quite a few emperors in the night moon," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. "We night moon people are different from other cultivators. We night moon people have high-level attributes. After we become emperors, we become high-level emperors. Our battle power is stronger than ordinary emperors, so it is more difficult. However, our night moon has many kings. Shunxian King, Shunyue King, and Shunlei King are all kings. The younger generation is also rising." Yi Linghuan explained to Knight Sorrow. It was not that Night Moon did not work hard and was slower than others in becoming a martial emperor. It was just that it was difficult. After more than 1,000 years of stable development, our Night Moon's younger generation has also developed. They're following the path you have walked and looking for your footprints, Yi Linghuan said. "Yes, I went to the Night Moon's imperial capital once and was called Granduncle. It was very embarrassing," Yi Shaluo said. "Then you should hurry up. Those who should get married, and those who should have children, have children. When the time comes, I will hold my grandson's hand and carry him to the celestial realm. It will be very domineering," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. "Father, the point is, if we have children, you, Mother, and Ani will give us a younger brother or sister. How awkward will that be?" Yi Qingyan said. "You bastard girl, you say everything." Aoi glared at her daughter. "You are thinking too much. It's not that I want to say how great my achievements are, but at this level, it is almost impossible for me to have children," Knight Sorrow said. "If your father has children, their bloodline will reach the king level after they are born. They can easily become emperors. The heavenly Tao is fair. It is indeed very difficult." Heavenly Concubine, who had been drinking tea and had not said anything, said, "I have a father, a son, and a daughter. The 6 of you are enough," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. The family chatted casually. Yishang emphasized that if their children were married, they should have children, and if they weren't married, they should work hard too. While chatting, Huowu went to the city in the sky and asked for an audience. Knight Sorrow asked Yi Yujun to bring Huowu into the mansion. "Realm Lord, this subordinate has just killed a member of the 100 races of the celestial realm," Huowu said with a bow. "And which faction does he belong to? What mistake did he make?" Knight Sorrow's teacup paused for a moment before he asked. "He is from the Brocade Palace. Their ancestor is the Council of Elders Law Enforcement Elder, Emperor Tang. A disciple of their family left the designated area and went to a small city in the Qingtian region to buy property. He also has the intention of forming a faction," Huowu said. $X kill. Behead him." Knight Sorrow nodded. He would not tolerate such a thing. He allowed the 100 races of the celestial realm to move because he was worried that ancient cultivators would kill their way into the celestial realm and cause great suffering. Now that this hedonistic son had formed a faction, It was obvious that he did not care about the rules of the commander-in-chief's residence. Then this subordinate will continue to patrol. Huo Wu bowed. Go. It is a difficult time. If there are others like this, continue to drag them to the commander-in-chief's residence and behead them. Knight Sorrow nodded to Huo Wu. After Huo Wu left, Knight Sorrow cupped his fist to his parents, grandfather, Yi Lingxie, and wife. I do not want to bring these matters home, but they still happened. What's wrong with that? If there's a problem, then deal with it. If there's a problem, then deal with it, Yi Linghuan said. He did not expect that Knight Sorrow would have a backup plan and even sent people to monitor. At this time, in the commander-in-chief's residence, Huang Ling's expression was not good. Huo Wu had dragged the people of the Brocade Palace to the entrance of the commander-in-chief's residence and announced the hedonistic son's crimes before beheading him without giving her a chance to speak. Daughter, it is my fault for not handling it well enough. The people of the Nine Realms have to clean it up personally. Knight Sorrow will not be satisfied, Huang Ling said. Wu Lingfei did not say anything. She was a little angry. Some things had been emphasized time and time again, but someone still dared to mess around. Brocade Palace. Lord Ling Huang, you should inform the people of the Brocade Palace to come over. We must give an explanation for this matter. If the human emperor comes personally, then it will be troublesome, Elder Ling Shu said. Yes, it must be dealt with, lest the other forces have to bear the evil reputation. If there is a sign, then it must be stopped. Men, inform Emperor Tang to come over, Huang Ling said to the people of the Council of Elders. Everyone, there's no need to be too worried. Every force has a black sheep. The Realm Lord will not implicate others, said Tai Shu Yan. At this time, Emperor Tang had already received the news. He was furious. His descendant had been beheaded. He was heartbroken, but he was even angrier. He did not blame anyone, because some rules had been set. It was his descendant who had stepped on the line and should have crossed the line. Great ancestor, you must speak up for your descendant. Even if he had bought property, he should not have been beheaded directly. The person in charge of the Brocade Palace in the Nine Realms world bowed to Emperor Tang. Slap. Tang Zong gave him a tight slap. Chapter 23-28. After Fire Dance left, Knight Sorrow calmed down. He felt that it wasn't appropriate for him to deal with this matter directly. That would embarrass Emperor Tang. Emperor Tang didn't want to see a black sheep appear among his descendants. Knight Sorrow understood Emperor Tang's character very well. He was an elder who paid great attention to virtue. He felt that Emperor Tang would deal with this matter after learning about it. Emperor Tang brought the person in charge of Brocade Hall to the Nine Regions World's Commander-in-Chief's residence. Then, he apologized to Huang Ling and Tai Shu Yan and said that Brocade Hall was willing to accept some punishment. Elder Emperor Tang, you don't have to blame yourself. Personal behavior isn't a big problem. As long as Brocade Hall is still on the planned route, it's fine, Tai Shu Yan said. Deputy Commander-in-Chief Tai Shu, please rest assured. Brocade Hall Manor will definitely develop according to the Commander-in-Chief's residence's plan. Those who are disobedient will be executed. There's no need for you to execute them. If anything happens, send a message to me and I'll deal with it myself. I won't tolerate it. In addition, if something like this happens again, Brocade Hall Manor will withdraw from the Nine Regions world. They won't have the face to continue living, Emperor Tang said. Then it's fine. Elder Emperor Tang, please don't blame the Nine Regions world for being strict. The Realm Lord and we are determined to give our all for the Nine Regions world, Tai Shu Yan said because Emperor Tang had shown his attitude and determination. Then, at Emperor Tang's request, Tai Shu Yan and Wu Lingfei brought him to Sky City. He wanted to explain to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow, who had finished drinking with Yi Linghuan and Emperor Tang, saw Emperor Tang arrive and quickly invited him to sit down and drink tea. Emperor Tang sat down and opened his mouth to explain to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow waved his hand. Emperor Tang, since you're here, things should be more or less settled. Let's drink tea. Try this tea. It should be very authentic. Emperor Tang exhaled and drank his tea. He knew that Knight Sorrow didn't want to embarrass him, so he didn't mention the incident. After drinking a few cups of tea, Knight Sorrow brought Emperor Tang around for a look before sending him off. Most L knew Chapter W 4 on. After leaving Sky City, Emperor Tang went to Jintang Manor and gathered all of his descendants. Then he talked about how rare it was to enter the Nine Realms world. Afterwards, he told his descendants that the rules set by the Commander-in-Chief's residence were ironclad rules that absolutely could not be broken. If any of his clansmen broke the rules, apart from being executed, he would also make the decision to leave the Nine Regions world. It was only then that the people of Jintang residence realized how serious the situation was. They also understood Emperor Tang's determination to deal with the problem. This matter was only a small disturbance, so Knight Sorrow went to rest. This time, it was a true rest. His main body accompanied his family every day, and every once in a while, he would take his wives around the Nine Regions world for a walk. A few years passed in the blink of an eye. One day, while drinking tea, Sikong Chiyu said, "Knight Sorrow, we know that you want to accompany us, but you're currently increasing your cultivation. When you reach the peak and don't need to cultivate anymore, you can accompany us. That way, everyone will feel at ease. We've been together a lot these past few years, but there's been no reaction at all. It seems that it's quite difficult to have a child," Yang Lei said. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Apart from Yang Lei, no one else would bring up the matter between husband and wife. "Indeed, let's not think about it for now. Knight Sorrow, you should go and cultivate." Dachira nodded. Over the past few years, Knight Sorrow had been with his wives every day, but there had been no reaction from them. "That's fine. Then my main body will go into seclusion, and my clone will accompany you. Actually, other than that, there's no difference between the clone and the main body," Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Knight Sorrow's main body went into seclusion, relaxing for a few years. To him, this was also a consolidation. Cultivating in a relaxed state would allow him to achieve twice the results with half the effort. In the blink of an eye, another few decades passed. The city in the sky welcomed the fourth generation. It started with Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing, who lived in the city in the sky for a long time. The fourth generation of the Yi clan was born, and it was the child of Yi Yujun and Qin Xin. Her name was Knight Sorrow, and it was Yi Zi. Yi Zi was born in the morning, and the weather was very good. It was the weather of purple qi coming from the east. Yi Zi was a true treasure. She was the baby of her uncles and aunts, and the grandmothers all loved her dearly. Yi Zi liked to spend time with Knight Sorrow. She followed Knight Sorrow around every day like a handyman. From the moment she could stand and run, she only knew how to pour wine and tea for Knight Sorrow. On this day, Knight Sorrow received news that there was another war at the ancient world's passageway. King Yawu and Heavenly Concubine, who had received the news, also went there. Under such circumstances, Knight Sorrow did not move. If the situation was serious, King Yawu and the Grand Elder would inform him. His Zhunqi cultivation was currently breaking through the bottleneck of the tribulation of 9 emperors. In addition, the Yi clan also had a wedding to celebrate. Knight Sorrow and Lu Qi had proposed marriage for Yi Xiaoluo. The day of the wedding was just around the corner. Yi Xiaoluo's friends had all arrived. His closest friends, Jing Yu and Lang Li, were helping him arrange the wedding. When their team member Cuckoo appeared, Knight Sorrow was stunned. "Isn't it a little strange? We should talk." Cuckoo cupped his hands towards Knight Sorrow. "Cuckoo." Seeing Cuckoo cupping his hands, Lang Li opened his mouth. He felt that it was a little strange. "You guys go do what you need to do." Knight Sorrow waved his hand and interrupted Lang Li. All these years, he had guided Lang Li and the others in their cultivation when he was free. He owed them a debt of gratitude. After that, Knight Sorrow brought Cuckoo to the wooden boat on the lake beside the city in the sky. "How should I address you?" Knight Sorrow asked as he brewed a pot of tea. "It's just a name. It's not important." Cuckoo said, "It's very important because you are a flag of the 100 races of the celestial realm. Your return should be very encouraging." Knight Sorrow shook his head. He recognized Cuckoo. Kuku's soul aura was of the same origin as the soul imprint left by Yi Tianxin in the Heaven Wasteland Tower. In other words, Kuku was Yi Tianxin. Night Sorrow was a little puzzled that he did not sense Kuku the first few times he saw him. A flag, maybe? Actually, I reveal my identity to you to tell you that the retreat of the Demon Wing clan is temporary. According to the prophecy of my people, a demon king will appear at the end of this reincarnation era. He might be the demon ancestor. Kuku, who is Yi Tianxin, said, Demon King, the demon ancestor will definitely awaken. Don't worry, I'm mentally prepared. Also, Night Sorrow thanks you for the heavenly chant. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Yi Tianxin. He knew that the woman in front of him was worthy of respect. She was once the all-powerful Shura Empress. She once killed her way in and out of the Demon Imperial City. However, she could only kill her way in. She was suppressed and did not achieve a decisive victory. You already know? Yi Tianxin was stunned. Night Sorrow nodded and told him about the Demon Nine Clouds and some of his estimations. Chapter 23-29. The name of the book was Heavenly Sword Art. The Heavenly Sword Art that I left behind was flawed. It was too slow to activate and could not become a mainstream combat absolute art. This has been modified, Yi Tianxin said. Thank you, my lord. Night Sorrow did not stand on ceremony. In fact, he did not use Heavenly Sword Art much anymore because it was too slow to activate. No one is qualified to call you lord. You are the real human emperor. Let us get to know each other. I am Yi Tianxin. After Kiki finished speaking, the energy on her body vibrated. The energy on her face changed, and another woman appeared. Her figure, face, aura, and attire changed. She was like a different person from Kiki. Yi Tianxin was wearing a white dress with red edges, a red collar, and red cuffs. Her face was pale, and there was a red sword mark between her eyebrows. Her blood-red hair was tied behind her head. She held a blood-red sword in her left hand. Her cultivation realm was very high. Tribulation of the 9 Emperors. This is the real style of the Empress. In fact, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm are very sullen. The Devil Wing clan had an expert who successfully reincarnated. But why didn't the 100 races of the Celestial Realm have one? Now, this regret is gone. It is just that the Empress hid it very well and only appeared after so long. Night Sorrow looked at Yi Tianxin, who had a shocking aura. Every soul reincarnator has a different experience, and the success rate is very low. When a cultivator reaches the tribulation of the 9 Emperors, they are faced with a choice. Because of the Divine Soul Unity realm, the success rate of soul reincarnation is almost negligible. It is fighting for a slim chance of survival. I already know about the demon ancestor situation. Her soul was able to successfully reincarnate because of the god annihilation tribulation. It is considered a half-completed state. Her soul is strong enough to withstand the corrosion and annihilation of the heavenly Tao energy. My success was also due to luck. Because of the secret treasure, a trace of my soul was not destroyed, Yi Tianxin said. So that's the case. After knowing that the devil ancestor's soul had reincarnated, I thought that the records about the Divine Soul Unity realm not having the chance to reincarnate were wrong. It seems like the records were right. My lord and the devil ancestor had different opportunities. Night Sorrow said after pouring a cup of tea for Yi Tianxin. Yes, after cultivating to the Divine Soul Unison realm, there's almost no chance for the soul to reincarnate and cultivate again. Those who can cultivate to the tribulation of the 9 Emperors are all cultivators. None of them would voluntarily give up the opportunity to break through to the Divine Soul Unison realm and the God-destroying tribulation. Because even if the soul reincarnates, the chances of cultivating to the Emperor realm in the next life is very low, Yi Tianxin said. Night Sorrow looked at Yi Tianxin and asked, so that's how it is. Then should I tell Tran Hung and my martial uncle about your return? Not for the time being. I want to live a quiet life. Also, don't leak the news. If the Demon Wings clan comes back again, we can have a backup plan. I can fight anyone below the Divine Emperor realm. said Yi Tianxin. Domineering. He could not fight anyone below the divine soul unison realm, but those below the divine emperor realm. The meaning was different. Okay, I respect your choice, Knight Sorrow nodded. Knight Sorrow had always addressed Yi Tianxin respectfully, as Yi Tianxin was one of the most meritorious sages of the 100 clans in the celestial realm. He was the strongest sage. Okay, then I am Ku now. Yi Tianxin's energy changed and returned to Ku's appearance. Later on, Yi Tianxin told Knight Sorrow that her real memory awakened when Knight Sorrow went to the Scarlet Knight world to rescue her. That time, Knight Sorrow's attack shocked her. After some of the images in her memory appeared, she knew who she was. She chose to go through the tribulation in the world domain. After she failed, her soul's secret treasure protected a trace of her soul, so her soul did not perish. She drifted in the void for countless years and fell into countless reincarnations before she reached a spatial world and completed her soul reincarnation. After the reincarnation, Yi Tianxin, who had no memory, began his cultivation journey. Later on, he came to the celestial realm and became friends with Jingyu, Lang Li, and Yi Xiaoluo. If you don't have a fixed residence, you can live in the 9-domain world. You are friends with Xiaoluo? Knight Sorrow invited him. That's good. Xiaoluo and Lu Yu are my friends. I'm very happy that they are together. So when I heard the news, I stopped my seclusion and rushed over, Yi Tianxin said. After chatting for a while, Knight Sorrow brought Yi Tianxin to see Yi Xiaoluo and let Yi Xiaoluo receive him. At this time, Yi Tianxin was wearing Ku's appearance, so no one noticed anything. Yi Tianxin's appearance made Knight Sorrow very happy. The heavenly Tao was fair. The demon ancestor of the Demon Wing clan was about to awaken, and the 100 races of the celestial realm also had powerful people returning. As for the chances of passing the god destroying tribulation, perhaps the demon ancestor had a higher chance. However, Knight Sorrow felt that after Yi Tianxin failed to pass the god destroying tribulation, his soul had not been destroyed. This also showed his strength. There was also a chance for him to pass the god destroying tribulation a second time. Of course, Knight Sorrow also understood that Yi Tianxin was sacrificing part of his lifespan to cultivate so fiercely. Yi Xiaoluo's wedding was very lively because he had friends in the world of reincarnation and the celestial realm. The Red Emperor, the First Emperor, and the others were all here. In addition, Wuji World's Yin Tianpa and Lin Ruoxu were also here. Knight Sorrow informed them. He knew that if he didn't invite them, Yin Tianpa and Lin Ruoxu wouldn't attend the wedding where so many experts gathered. Upon seeing Yin Tianpa and Lin Ruoxu, Knight Sorrow personally received them and addressed them as uncle and aunt. This made Yin Tianpa and Lin Ruoxu very moved. They stayed in the Wuji world, but sometimes they would go to the celestial realm to move around. Hence, they knew Knight Sorrow's identity and status now. In addition, Big Dipper King, Xian Sky King, Shun Shao King, Purple Firmament King, and Hylon Realm Lord were all here. Hylon Realm Lord was invited by Long Jin. Long Jin was already an Emperor Tribulation cultivator. He was from the Golden Dragon race, but he was born in the royal family of the Hylon realm. He didn't forget the care and nurturing that the Hylon clan gave him. Knight Sorrow also used his son's wedding as an excuse to gather with his old friends. Bringing his grandson and meeting his old friends made Knight Sorrow feel very good. After the wedding ended and the guests were sent off, Knight Sorrow's clone went into seclusion. Because the battle at the ancient world spatial passageway was still very intense, King Yawu and the heavenly concubine often went out to fight. King Yawu asked Shi Yu to bring a gift, but the heavenly concubine didn't return. This made Knight Sorrow know that the situation wasn't simple. Although the demon-winged race will be the biggest enemy of the celestial realm in the future, Knight Sorrow didn't underestimate the ancient cultivators of the ancient worlds. With a long history, there will be many experts. There will be many variables. Knight Sorrow wouldn't be surprised if a half-step god Emperor Realm expert appeared one day. In fact, Knight Sorrow was worried that there might not be any god Emperor Realm ancient cultivators. From the appearance of a supreme world to a sub-supreme world, it would take 2,000 reincarnation cycles of lifespan. The ancient worlds were formed by the fragments of countless supreme worlds. It could be seen that the ancient worlds had existed for countless years. Some things were unknown, and the unknown was the most terrifying. Chapter 23:30. Night Sorrow did not tell Tran Hung and King Yawu about Yi Tianxin. He did not even tell his wife. He felt that this was a trump card of the celestial realm, and the fewer people who knew about it, the better. In addition, the matter of the Jintang Palace made the people of the celestial realm who came to the nine-domain world to be cautious. The fact of the Jintang Palace told them that they had no sense of superiority in the nine-domain world. They could come to the nine-domain world because their ancestors had contributed to the celestial realm. They were nothing. If they dared to make a mistake, the law enforcement team of the nine-domain world would not be polite and would directly kill them without warning. The law enforcement team of the Jintang Palace was severely criticized by Huang Ling. Because it was not Night Sorrow who discovered it, the law enforcement team did not notice. Yishan was still cultivating. The true energy realm's tribulation of the nine emperors was a bottleneck. Although there was a cultivation method of using strength to prove one's Tao, it was not easy to break through the tribulation of the nine emperors with true energy cultivation. When the Thousand Realms defense body reached the 13th world, Night Sorrow's doppelganger came out of seclusion. While the main body continued to cultivate, he left the celestial realm and went to Tianhuang to take a look at the demon imperial city. It had been some time since the last time the city was broken. He wanted to see if the Demon Wing clan had made any moves. In reality, what Night Sorrow saw was a huge, faceless skull standing tall in the wind. It let out ghostly howls as it was blown by the wind, recounting its past glory. In a different space, Demon Nine Clouds had been cultivating hard. Mo Zhantian was recovering from his injuries. The last time he entered the celestial realm, he was seriously injured by King Yawu with the help of Night Sorrow. He burned his essence blood and destroyed his foundation. Now he was recovering. Mo Yutian was stabilizing his cultivation. He had just entered the Soul Unity realm and needed to stabilize his cultivation. In addition, Mo Yutian was meditating. When Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian asked, she had to provide the information she had gathered. Euphoebs read novels forever. The people under the command of Dark Feather had entered another domain and laid low. She just ordered people to set up the transmission formation and did nothing else, mainly because she did not want to arouse the vigilance of the 100 races of the celestial realm. In addition, after Mo Yuqing saw the memory crystal ball of Night Sorrow killing a Soul Unity expert, he couldn't understand and was deeply affected. She was the pride of the Devil Wing clan. She had once been on the same side as Night Sorrow. But now, the difference between the two of them was like heaven and earth. In front of Night Sorrow, she was nothing more than an ant. If she dared to stand in front of Night Sorrow could crush her to death with just a pinky. After walking around the Devil Imperial City, Night Sorrow left. He knew that the Devil Wing clan had not completely retreated and still had strongholds in the celestial realm. Because the Devil Wing clan had retreated too calmly, they had retreated prepared and had time to prepare for some things. After leaving the Devil Imperial City, Night Sorrow went to the Divine Capital to drink with Lu Qi. Now that the Lu and Yi families were in-laws, Night Sorrow went to the Humanitarian League to see Pu Luo, Great Demon King, Yu Zhu, Rue Si, and Jun Xuanji. They were very happy to see Night Sorrow. They hadn't seen Night Sorrow for a while and knew that Night Sorrow was busy, so they didn't disturb him. "Since you're here, let's drink a few more cups," Pu Luo said. "If I don't come, you won't go to the nine-domain world," Night Sorrow said as he sat down. "Aren't you trying to break through your cultivation now? We'll wait for you to break through, and then we'll go find you to eat and drink," Pu Luo said with a smile. "I'll be waiting for you any time." Night Sorrow nodded. The people in the Humanitarian League were his life and death brothers, so whenever they went, Night Sorrow would welcome them. Mainly, They're all working hard on their cultivation, Jun Xuanji said with a smile. After Jun Xuanji said that, everyone laughed. Night Sorrow saw everyone's improvement in their cultivation. Pu Luo was already at the 5 Emperor Tribulation. Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao were at the 4 Emperor Tribulation, while Yu Zhu and Rui Si were at the late stage of the 3 Emperor Tribulation. Jun Xuanji's improvement was the greatest, reaching the High Emperor Tribulation. She improved quickly because she had Mo Tianji's cultivation memories. It could be said that she had a cultivation realm, so she had to work hard to cultivate and familiarize herself with it. Fen Tian was in seclusion, so he wasn't in the Humanitarian League. Everyone's efforts are very effective. It's now the great era where the new and old supreme worlds are replacing each other. Seize the opportunity and you'll rise, Night Sorrow said. That's not quite right. Where are the experts from the last reincarnation era? Where are they? Did they all die in battle? Rui Si asked. I'm calling you stupid, but you don't want to admit it. You don't even understand what I'm saying. The Alliance Master is talking about the replacement of the old and new supreme worlds, not the reincarnation era. The last time it happened was 1,000 reincarnations ago. What do you know? Yu Zhu glanced at Rui Si with disdain. Haha, I didn't understand. But Yu Zhu, your words are still so aggressive, Rui Si said with a smile. He had just come out of seclusion and hadn't seen Yu Zhu and the others for a while. In the last reincarnation era, the Celestial Realm and the Demon Wing clan produced many experts. However, they were all killed in the Apocalyptic War. The Demon Wing clan only has a few young talents left. The 3 Grand Heavens are the representatives of the Celestial Realm. The 4 heroes are the representatives of the 100 clans, Jun Xuanji said. She was the person involved, so she knew everything. We know about the 3 Grand Heavens of the Demon Wing clan. Isn't the Celestial Realm the big 3? How did it become the 4 heroes? Rui Si asked. I can't help but want to insult you, but forget it. Our divine capital used to have a city lord, who was the Alliance Master's teacher, Peerless Sword Emperor. I think he should be one of the 4 heroes, Yu Zhu said. That's right. Peerless Sword Emperor Yin Wushuang was a young talent from the last reincarnation era. His cultivation was lower than Tran Hung and King Yawu, but his combat ability was not weak. He cultivated the heavenly sword technique of the Shura Empress Yi Tianxin. He grasped the forbidden element before Tran Hung and King Yawu. It's not that he grasped it early, but he showed it early, so he suffered the god-destroying tribulation early, Jun Xuanji said. Jun Xuanji said, with Mo Tianji's memories, she was now a know-it-all. She knew almost everything. So that's how it is. The forbidden energy is not easy to come into contact with. Once you come into contact with the god-destroying tribulation, it will come. This is really deadly, Pu Luo said. Yes, cultivators who have the ability to grasp the forbidden energy will only cultivate the supreme element and the 4 great elements in the early stages. They will only combine them when they're needed or when they have to face the god-destroying tribulation, Jun Xuanji explained to everyone. It's rare for Chief Steward Jun to dispel my doubts. Some things that I couldn't figure out have been solved, Pu Luo said. Rules are rules. The heavenly laws rules cannot be broken. Whoever breaks them will have to face the heavenly laws test and punishment, Jun Xuanji said. Chapter 23:31. That's right. Rules are rules. Just like how you have to accept punishment for doing something wrong, you have to pay the price for coming into contact with the forbidden energy and possessing combat power that surpasses others. Ruisi said, Are you talking about me? It's fine if you don't comfort me, but you're attacking me. Do you think it's easy for someone like me, who only has 1 era? Night Sorrow muttered unhappily. Haha. Alliance Master's lifespan is as long as the heavens. We have never doubted whether Alliance Master can survive the god-destroying tribulation. Ruisi said with a smile. But after countless reincarnations, no one has survived the god-destroying tribulation. Night Sorrow shook his head. They can't because they're not called Night Sorrow. Yuju nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow pounded his chest with his fist. Since his brothers had confidence in him, he had to work hard and fight for this honor. While they were talking, Fentian ran over. His original body was in seclusion, and his clone had just returned from walking around the ancient world's passageway. Fentian sat down, and Night Sorrow asked about the situation at the ancient world passageway. How should I put it? It's very intense. Master and Heavenly Concubine often go out to kill, but they don't let us go out. We don't know the situation outside. Fentian said. You? Look at you. Not only can you not participate in the battle, you can't even bring back news. The great Demon King looked at Fentian with disdain. I can't do anything about it. Only Master, Sect Elder Duan, and Heavenly Concubine know about the situation. I asked them once, but they ignored me. I'm too embarrassed to ask a second time. Fentian said with some hesitation. There won't be a problem. Inform me if there's a problem. Last time, 10 Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators attacked our celestial realm and were all killed. What can they do? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Look, current edition of %D chapters. That's true. There's nothing to worry about. Pu Luo nodded. Night Sorrow told Pu Luo and the others to strictly restrict the development of their subordinates who had entered the 9-domain world. He also warned the direct descendants of their families not to act recklessly. We know what happened in Jintang Prefecture. This kind of thing will not happen in our humanitarian league. We will fight for your honor, League Master. Pu Luo nodded. I'm reminding you guys because I'm worried that something might go wrong. I'm worried that things might get awkward between us, Night Sorrow said. After chatting with his brothers for a while, Night Sorrow left. He arrived at the ancient world's spatial passageway. King Yawu and Sect Elder Duan didn't tell him about the situation, but he couldn't ignore it. When Night Sorrow arrived, King Yanwu, Sect Elder Duan, and the Heavenly Concubine were drinking tea and chatting. After arriving, Night Sorrow first clasped his hands towards Elder Duan to express his congratulations. Elder Duan had now completely reached the God Soul Unity realm. Previously, he was in between the 9 Emperors' Tribulation and the God Soul Unity realm. Then, Night Sorrow asked about the current situation. Same as always. A group of people has gathered, but this time they are not organized. Martial Uncle and Protector Heavenly Concubine can fight and take care of them, King Yawu said. You don't have to worry. Just focus on resting and cultivating. In the future, we will rely on you, Sect Elder Duan said with a smile. Okay, if there are any problems, send me a message. I have been in seclusion recently, Night Sorrow said. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow left. With King Yawu and the Heavenly Concubine here, he felt more at ease. Sitting in the teleportation array, Night Sorrow returned to the 9-domain world. Then, he set off with the 9-domain avatars and began to patrol the worlds around the 9-domain world. He needed to know about any hidden dangers and solve them. Night Sorrow would not invade other worlds, but there were some situations that he needed to understand. If he understood the situation, there would be emergency measures. This was a heavy workload because the 9-domain world was too big. It was not as big as the Celestial Realm, but it was equivalent to half of the Celestial Realm. If an emperor wanted to fly, it would take at least a few years. The 9-domain world's regions were connected easily because the teleportation arrays were set up well. The Commander-in-Chief's residence and Tianji Tower paid more attention to this area. If Night Sorrow wanted to investigate the situation around the 9-domain world, he would have to travel further. Normally, if one's cultivation was higher than King's, one would not be able to enter other worlds. However, this did not apply to Night Sorrow. He was the virtuous Merit Emperor and had the power of merit to protect his body. All world barriers could be broken, but it could not stop Night Sorrow from entering. Night Sorrow held a map of the 9-domain world in his hand and marked out the attributes and levels of the surrounding worlds. Night Sorrow recorded everything in detail. He didn't care how much energy he had to waste. Since he had set out to do this, he had to do it properly. This was his responsibility as a Realm Lord. In the radiation zone of the 9-domain world, Knight Soro's speed was 10 times that of other Tribulation 9 Emperor's cultivators. In the 5th year of the two clones' investigation, Knight Soro's true body had cultivated for 300 years. Finally, he broke through the limits of true energy and reached the Tribulation 9 Emperor's level, successfully passing the Lightning Tribulation. After passing the Tribulation, Knight Soro's true body continued to stabilize his cultivation base in the Clear Heaven Pagoda. The 9-domain doppelganger and the battle doppelganger continued their investigation. Of course, the two clones had different tasks. The 9-domain doppelganger could only stay close to the 9-domain world to investigate, while the battle doppelganger could enter other worlds to investigate. 30 years. It took Knight Soro a full 30 years to complete this project. After the investigation, Knight Soro went to the 9-domain world's Commander-in-Chief's residence and gathered the elders and key personnel of the Commander-in-Chief's residence together. The people of the Celestial Realms Council of Elders also participated in the meeting. The people of the Celestial Realms 100 clans had entered the 9-domain world, so they were also responsible for some things. Marshal Uncle Tai, take this map and copy it. I've marked it. The green ones are small spatial worlds. The white ones are more distant ones, so there's no need to pay attention to them for the time being. The red ones are spatial worlds with cultivators. The black ones of the world's origin is not too good, and the cultivators are wild and aggressive. Knight Soro handed the map to Tai Shuyan. This is the map of the 9-domain world's borders. Tai Shuyan was stunned for a moment because the area covered by this map was too large. There were records of distances on it. It was an immeasurably large project, but Knight Soro had already completed it. Yes, this is the map of the 9-domain world's borders. The spatial worlds that have intersections with the 9-domain world are all recorded here. The marked areas with the black and red dots are to be stationed by the Commander-in-Chief's residence's soldiers and closely monitored. If the people of the red dots enter, there's no need to kill them, but they need to be dealt with. If the cultivators of the black dots enter, they need to be expelled directly. Knight Soro ordered. Okay, I'll arrange it. Tai Shuyan nodded. Chapter 23:32. After 30 years of investigation, Knight Soro had investigated too many worlds, so many that he couldn't even remember them all. Therefore, he recorded them according to the situation. Some worlds were close to the 9-domain world, so it was inevitable that they would enter the 9-domain world in the future. Everything had to be arranged in advance. Even if there was a war, it had to be fought calmly. Don't worry, Realm Lord. We will take care of it. Xiaolan Jun and Lin Daoyuan nodded. They had things to do, and it was troublesome. However, they were happy because Knight Soro trusted Tianji Tower. Elder Xie, Master Lin Ke, the two of you wait in the ethereal Imperial City. I will contact some people and see if we can get some teleportation crystals from other races, Huang Ling said. Although Knight Soro had asked Xiaolan Jun and Lin Daoyuan to do this, Huang Ling felt that they had to help if they could. The development of the 9-domain world was important to everyone. After giving the instructions, Yi Shang left. He was very proud that he had done a good job. It was indeed not easy. He was the only one who could do this, and only he could be so efficient. The 9-domain doppelganger entered the Sealing Heaven Hall. Knight Soro's battle doppelganger went to a small courtyard in a remote area of the 9-domain city. At this moment, Yi Tianxin was standing in the courtyard, looking at the sky with his hands behind his back. No one knew what he was thinking. Knight Soro noticed that Yi Tianxin's cultivation had improved a lot. He had reached the divine soul uniting realm. His cultivation speed was terrifying. Her Majesty is terrifying. This cultivation speed. Knight Soro looked at Yi Tianxin and muttered, Hee, I am different from the demon ancestor and the others. They are outsiders in the celestial realm, but I am from the celestial realm. Back then, I killed several people in the demon imperial city and the outer realm many times. Therefore, I have accumulated a lot of resources. In addition, the Shura race disappeared in the long river of history. However, I can find their old site. The treasury is still there. Therefore, after awakening, I have the original memory and will not lack resources for my cultivation, Yi Tianxin said. After a moment of surprise, Knight Sorrow nodded. He didn't expect this. Yi Tianxin had a lot of backup plans. While drinking tea and chatting, Knight Sorrow asked a question. How much stronger would a battle at the Divine Soul Uniting Realm be compared to the tribulation of 9 emperors? This was also a question that he had been thinking about recently. His original body and avatar were very strong. It wasn't difficult for them to kill Divine Soul Uniting Realm experts. If the Divine Soul Uniting Realm was only slightly stronger than the tribulation of 9 emperors, Knight Sorrow wouldn't choose to reach the Divine Soul Uniting Realm before the God-destroying tribulation of this era. After all, an era had a lifespan of 100 billion years. He was only a little more than 1,000 years old. Entering the Divine Soul Uniting Realm requires the Avatar to melt and consume half of the battle strength. However, the increase in strength isn't doubled. It's close to 1/3. However, increasing strength by 1/3 is much stronger than fighting with the original body and Avatar, Yi Tianxin said. 1/3 is still significant. Some situations that the original body and Avatar can't face together can be faced at the Divine Soul Uniting Realm, Knight Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Yes, increasing the battle strength by 1/3 on the original foundation can easily defeat cultivators of the same level. As for being besieged, it's not a problem. If the strength increases by 1/3, the speed will naturally increase as well. With higher speed and greater attack strength, the besieged cultivators can be instantly killed, Knight Sorrow analyzed and said. First strike H. According to Yi Tianxin's logic, Knight Sorrow came to a conclusion. If a cultivator who hadn't broken through the tribulation of 9 emperors and his avatar fought against a Divine Soul Uniting Realm expert who had broken through, they wouldn't be able to withstand a head-on confrontation. If their speed wasn't fast enough, besieging wouldn't be effective. That's right. This is a change from quantity to quality. It's very necessary because the increase in quality is the key to transcending the Divine Soul Uniting tribulation. Yi Tianxin nodded to Knight Sorrow. After chatting with Yi Tianxin for a while, Knight Sorrow felt that it was better to let nature take its course. He didn't need to worry about it. Besides, his 2 avatars were different from the Divine Soul Uniting Realm experts who cultivated with just 1 avatar. The increase in battle strength should exceed the 1/3 limit. Actually, Unite Moon people are very similar to the Azura race, Yi Tianxin said with a sigh. Why do they look so similar? Yishan was surprised. Looking at Knight Sorrow, Yi Tianxin didn't move. However, a beam of energy flew out from the back of his neck and slashed towards the void. Soon after, a spatial crack appeared. Spatial crack. Yi Tianxin used a spatial crack. Night Moon people are descendants of the Azura race. Knight Sorrow's eyes were filled with shock. He clearly saw that it was a spatial crack. It's similar, but it's unlikely. Out of my research, Unite Moon people originated from the Heaven Mystic world in the world of reincarnation. The history of the Heaven Mystic world is too short. It's impossible for it to cross paths with the Azura race. However, their talents are very similar, Yi Tianxin said. Knight Sorrow exhaled. He didn't know what he was feeling. Why are you so nervous? Do you hope that it's a descendant of the Azura race or not? Yi Tianxin asked. I don't know. I just feel that this matter is very serious. So, I'm a little nervous, Knight Sorrow said. After chatting with Yi Tianxin for a while, Knight Sorrow returned to the city in the sky. Yi was already an adult. After all, Knight Sorrow had left for 30 years. Grandpa is back, Yi shouted when he saw Knight Sorrow return. You've grown up. However, there are still traces of your childhood, Knight Sorrow said as he patted Yi's shoulder. Grandpa's been busy all these years. You didn't bring Yi along. Yi can also serve you tea, Yi said. You're a man. How can you think about serving tea all day long? Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Knight Sorrow's return filled the city in the sky with joy. Sister Xian'er, heavenly concubine, hasn't returned all these years. After sitting down, Night Sorrow asked Lin Piao. Occasionally, but most of the time, she's not around. She should be at the spatial tunnel entrance, Lin Piao said. Seems like the ancient world group isn't stable enough. If it's stable, she should be back by now, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Where there are people, there will be war. This is normal. The elders have done what you asked Elder Xia and Master Lin Quebec. They're collecting teleportation crystals now, Lin Piao said. They're quite smart, Night Sorrow smiled. 13. This is where you're wrong. The elder's grand elder is in our house. What do you think? Atsu looked at Lin Piao and smiled. Chapter 23:33. What are you looking at? I'm a fair person. I won't make any special decisions because of our family, Lin Piao said with a smile. In the future, when things are over, we'll give this job to someone else, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Okay, actually, there's nothing much to do now. The law enforcement elders will handle some things. When there's a war, they'll coordinate. Lin Piao nodded. When everyone was eating dinner together, Night Sorrow picked up his chopsticks and put them down. Where's Lingxi? He's been outside all these years. According to what you said, he didn't go to the celestial realm. He's been moving around the 9-domain world and the chaos domain world. He has his own friends and companions now, Shueshi said. As long as he's happy. I also hope to see him change like this. Yishang nodded his head in satisfaction. Of the 6 children, he was most worried about Yi Lingxi, because she was a little antisocial and even unsociable. Father, Lingxi has changed a lot. He's not as quiet as before. He's very cheerful now, Yi Qingyin said. He's very similar to your father before I found your grandparents. Perhaps it's because I was in a deep sleep when he was born. He's under a lot of pressure. As his elder sister, you should take care of him and the other brothers and sisters, Night Sorrow said. Father, don't worry. Qingyin will. Yi Qingyin nodded. Father, don't worry. Elder sister takes good care of us. Isn't this robe handsome? Elder sister made it herself. Yi Xiaoke stood up and showed Night Sorrow his battle robe. Very good, very good. Seems like I really don't need to worry. Night Sorrow smiled. Actually, what made Night Sorrow the happiest wasn't this. It was that Father Gu, who was sitting at the side, had entered the king's realm. Although he had just entered, his lifespan was no longer a problem. Father Gu had always been the person Night Sorrow was most worried about. Because his bloodline, his family members all had very high cultivation aptitudes. Only Father Gu was slightly lacking. Therefore, Night Sorrow had often provided Father Gu with some rare resources over the years. Now, it was finally taking effect. Night Sorrow, there's one more thing I'd like to tell you. I've handed the Misty Dynasty over to Song Ning and Wu Feng. Initially, I wanted to step down from my position as the emperor, but Song Ning and Wu Feng refused. But now that Song Ning is the vice-emperor, she's in charge of everything, Lin Piao said. That's good. Our family doesn't need to expand our influence. We should let go of some things if we can. Night Sorrow nodded. He agreed with this. After dinner, Night Sorrow accompanied his parents for a walk in the city in the sky and explained why he often left. After all, he hadn't been able to fulfill his filial duties. You don't have to think too much. Your father and I understand. You've been very tired these years. Sometimes, we really don't want you to go out. But your father said that you're the human emperor of the 100 races in the celestial realm. There are some things that you have to take on, Yu Qing said. Some things are almost done. Once they're done, I'll plant vegetables with my mother, be a gardener with my father and Father Gu, and sweep the streets of the city in the sky, Night Sorrow said with a smile. In the following days, Night Sorrow was free. His original body came out of seclusion and swapped places with his doppelganger. His realm had reached the limit before he entered the soul uniting realm. The 2 doppelganger would be enough to study combat skills. 13. Let's go to the Medicine Valley and stay for a few days, I always said when they were drinking tea together one day. Sure, let's go to the Bamboo Forest Peak. That's also one of my bases, Night Sorrow said with a smile. After saying goodbye to his parents and children, Night Sorrow left with his wives and sneaked back to the bamboo forest peak. Night Sorrow knew that Aoi and Yang Lei missed their master and senior brothers. He wanted to relax his state of mind. He had been cultivating too quickly in the past few years. Now, he needed to relax his state of mind. Of course, if he didn't enter the soul uniting realm, he wouldn't be able to cultivate. When Night Sorrow and his wives arrived at the bamboo forest peak, they sent away the servants because they could handle things by themselves. In addition, Yu Yangyu, Gong Xian, and some others had also detected the arrival of Night Sorrow and the others. They couldn't sense Night Sorrow's aura, but they could sense Yang Lei and the others. They knew that Night Sorrow had returned. Perhaps he wanted some peace and quiet, so they didn't disturb him. After returning to the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow pursued the feeling of returning to his roots, just like he did in the past, in order to enter the Saint King realm. Every day, he would chop firewood, chop some bamboo, repair the house, and so on. When he was bored, he would go back to find Shi Tianlin, Imo Chun, and Guan Yi for a drink. Imo Chun and Guan Yi's clones followed the god-slaying team and patrolled the 9 regions world. Their true bodies were in the Medicine Valley. Guan Yi was also married. He got married during the 700 years that Night Sorrow was asleep. Like Imo Chun, he also had children. W%, forever free of charge to read novels. In addition, Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian, and Chu Ning often came to Night Sorrow's place to drink. When they came to the bamboo forest peak, the 3 of them were very casual. Night Sorrow was their martial uncle, but he was also their captain. Even if they didn't talk about seniority, they and Night Sorrow were brothers who had gone through life and death together. On Night Sorrow's day, he went to the Medicine Valley's Danding Peak. That was the place that left the deepest impression on him. It was also the most important part of his journey on the path of his rise. But this time, he saw a farce. It was caused by Xiang Ding. After returning to the Medicine Valley, Xiang Ding took a large cloth and was about to wipe the Night Sorrow statue in the air above Danding Cliff. This made Elder Su, who was guarding Danding Cliff, very unhappy. "You bastard, get down here." Elder Su, who was standing below Danding Cliff, pointed at Xiang Ding and scolded him. Although Xiang Ding was an emperor, he was still a junior in front of Elder Su. Cultivation sects were particular about seniority. If an elder scolded him, he had to listen. "Elder Su, let me wipe the dust off," Xiang Ding replied with a bucket in one hand and a cloth in the other. "You bastard who can't tell things apart. That's a golden body. It's not stained with dust at all. Why are you wiping it?" Elder Su flew up and pulled Xiang Ding down. In the Medicine Valley, Xiang Ding was very famous. He was even more famous than the founder of the Medicine Valley, Xiang Tian Ding, who had a similar name. Moreover, everyone knew that Xiang Ding couldn't tell things apart. When he entered the sect, he ran in the wrong direction because he couldn't tell things apart. He even made a fool of himself. Not stained with dust? I really don't know about this. Xiang Ding was a little embarrassed and embarrassed. You don't know anything and you dare to act recklessly? Elder Su was furious because Xiang Ding was too reckless. "Don't talk to Elder Su. Our captain is over there." Xiang Ding flew to Night Sorrow's side. Elder Su followed him. Night Sorrow was the supreme patriarch of the Medicine Valley. His status was much higher than Xiang Ding's. Elder Su had to greet him. Chapter 23:34. I wouldn't dare. I just thought that the leader's golden body needs attention, so I came to take a look. Xiang Ding said awkwardly. "Cultivate well. Don't wander around every day." Night Sorrow waved his hand and let Xiang Ding leave. If he didn't say anything, Xiang Ding wouldn't dare to leave. That bastard. Other than the Grand Elder, there aren't many people who can control him. Last time, when Vice Valley Master Chu scolded him, he covered his ears and ran away. Elder Su said with a smile, "It's not that he doesn't respect the elders. It's just that he has always been like this. I'll talk about it later." Night Sorrow said with a smile. Xiang Ding was from the Taishan Peak, so he really had to control him. No one minds. When the elders scold him, even if they scold him, he won't be unhappy or talk back. It's just that he's a troublemaker. Elder Su said with a smile. Knight Sorrow nodded. He knew about Xiangding's temperament. After chatting for a while, Knight Sorrow and Elder Su went to Tsagu Town outside the mountain gate and found a tavern to drink. Knight Sorrow had a lot of experience in Tsagu Town. Back then, he had a conflict with Qin Hai and Qinjian here. Lin Jingyi also kicked him here. Seeing that Knight Sorrow's mind was wandering, Elder Su asked, because at Knight Sorrow's realm, it wasn't right for him to be absent-minded. Knight Sorrow took it as a joke and told him some things back then. You? It's been more than 1,000 years. There are many things and people that no one remembers. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 years have passed. Elder Su sighed. His cultivation wasn't high enough, so he didn't have much lifespan left. This was something that couldn't be helped. The heavens were fair. If you had achievements, you would have a long lifespan. If you had low achievements, you would be annihilated by the river of time. Yes, 1,000 years have passed in the blink of an eye. However, I slept for 700 years of my lifespan. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Elder Su nodded. The 700 years of Knight Sorrow's slumber was a dark era for the nine-domain world. Although everything was developing, the nine-domain world had lost its backbone during that time. After drinking a jar of wine with Elder Su, Knight Sorrow returned to the bamboo forest peak. Not long after Knight Sorrow left, Lin Jingyi appeared in the tavern. She knew that Knight Sorrow had come, but she didn't come to meet him because Knight Sorrow didn't plan to see her. Because of the Lin family, there was no friendship between the two of them. Jingyi, you're here. Elder Su, who was still drinking, greeted her. Is Elder Su here? Lin Jingyi stopped the waiter from greeting her and sat across from Elder Su. I just came to drink a glass of wine. You're here too. Let bygones be bygones. If the Lin family can't be brought up, then don't force it. Let go of what needs to be let go. Elder Su tried to persuade Lin Jingyi, who had a worried expression on her face. Jingyi understands. Elder Su, did you know that my fate changed because of this little tavern? 1,000 years have passed, and everything has changed. The waiter of this tavern has changed again and again, but the owner has only changed once. Lin Jingyi said. Elder Su sighed. He understood that Lin Jingyi was the owner of this tavern. The waiter's greeting just now explained everything. Shaking his head helplessly, Elder Su left. He knew that some things were already set in stone. Knight Sorrow returned to the bamboo forest peak. Xiangding was at bamboo forest peak. He had been chatting with Yishang's wives, but when he saw Yishang return, he immediately stood up straight. Captain, I was wrong. Knight Sorrow sat down. You were wrong? What did you do wrong? Well, I shouldn't have used the cloth to wipe Captain's face. Xiangding stuttered. That's not it. You did out of kindness. But remember, listen to the scoldings of the sect elders. Don't run away. Don't make it seem like the disciples of Taishian Peak don't know any better. Knight Sorrow said. I know. I won't provoke them in the future. Xiangding nodded. It's not don't provoke them. It's don't provoke them. Listen to whatever the sect elders say. Yang Lei glared at Xiangding. Xiangding shrunk his neck, then bowed to the few of them and left. This guy isn't young anymore, but his nature hasn't changed. He's still the same as before. Yang Lei said with a smile. Xiangding's incident was just an interlude. Knight Sorrow lived in the bamboo forest peak most of the time. Occasionally, he would go out to drink with his fellow disciples. In addition, Knight Sorrow would solve the cultivation problems of his fellow disciples if he could. Knight Sorrow didn't care about the formalities. He hoped that all of his fellow disciples would achieve something. 2 years. After staying in the bamboo forest peak for 2 years, Knight Sorrow decided to leave. Now, his state of mind and cultivation were very stable. He didn't need to continue settling down. He should go and take a look at the celestial realm. He couldn't just wash his hands and ignore it. As for when to break through to the divine soul uniting realm, Knight Sorrow hadn't thought about it yet. Lin Piao and the others supported Knight Sorrow's decision to leave. This was because everyone knew that it wasn't easy for Knight Sorrow to accompany everyone for 2 years. The matters of the celestial realm indeed had to be dealt with. After saying goodbye to his master, Gong Xian, and the others, Knight Sorrow sent his wives back to Sky City. He came to the celestial realm and arrived at the spatial tunnel of the ancient world group. "You're here." King Yawu was very happy to see Knight Sorrow. "I'm here. How have you been?" Knight Sorrow nodded to King Yawu, heavenly concubine, and sect Elder Duan, and sat down. "If you didn't come, Martial Uncle would have told you to come. The situation is a bit bad. You see, Martial Uncle was just stabbed. Fortunately, it's not serious." King Yawu pointed at his shoulder. "There was a bloodstain there." "Yes, we can't hold on any longer." Heavenly Concubine nodded. Then King Yawu told Knight Sorrow that ancient cultivators had appeared in the past few decades. However, they didn't have any battle plans. They were all fighting for themselves. He and Heavenly Concubine could go in and kill them. The other party could also rush in and kill them. However, the problem now was that another guy with strong combat power had appeared. King Yawu and Heavenly Concubine were both beaten back. "What's his cultivation level?" Knight Sorrow asked. "Divine Soul Uniting Realm. However, his combat skills are heaven-defying. We ran away. He threatened us and told us to wait. If we were late, his big brother and the others would come and kill us." Heavenly Concubine said, "You're saying that the person who beat you back isn't their leader?" Knight Sorrow stood up. "This was a serious problem. Yes, we were discussing to let you come over. We can't handle this subordinate. If the leader comes, it will be very dangerous." King Yawu said. Chapter 23:35. Knight Sorrow, we have to be careful. This bastard has gathered the scattered ancient cultivators. Although there aren't as many experts as the previous time, there's still a few Divine Soul Unity Realm experts. Heavenly Concubine said, "I know. Heavenly Concubine, Martial Uncle, the two of you have to be careful. If you can't do it, just run. I will also kill if I can't kill." Knight Sorrow said, "All right, let's see how strong your body, true chi, and soul spirit are at the tribulation of 9 emperors. Ordinary Divine Soul Unity Realm experts would be killed easily. You just have to be careful of the other party." Heavenly Concubine nodded to Knight Sorrow. She and King Yawu were confident in Knight Sorrow because Knight Sorrow's previous battle record was there. He had killed many Divine Soul Unity Realm experts. Furthermore, Knight Sorrow's cultivation back then was very different from now. King Yawu and Heavenly Concubine had cultivated all the way. They knew the difference between the tribulation of 8 emperors and tribulation of 9 emperors. They were experts. This time, sect Elder Duan followed along. The Golden Dragon King was enough to oversee the array because Knight Sorrow and the rest would return as soon as they said they would. After exiting the spatial passage, Knight Sorrow and the rest flew towards the ancient cultivators' camp. Knight Sorrow planned to use peaceful means before resorting to force. If they could come to an agreement, and if the ancient cultivators were willing to retreat, then everything would be fine. If not, then Knight Sorrow would not be polite. If there was a Bodhisattva lowering his eyebrows, then there would be a Vajra glaring at him. When Knight Sorrow and the rest arrived, the people from the ancient cultivators' camp appeared. They were led by a young man. "Another one has come. Why aren't you in a battle stance?" The young man stroked the long sword in his hand and said, "Don't be anxious. My name is Knight Sorrow. I am here to talk to you. I hope you can retreat. Our world is not something you can step into." Knight Sorrow said, "Knight Sorrow, that's a good name. I am Jingtian Ho. The world on the other side is ours. You can't defend it. We won't attack for the time being. This Marquis is waiting for Big Brother's arrival. Big Brother has to take the first step when it comes to good things." The young man named Marquis Jingtian said, while stroking his longsword, "Sai, do you know how many God Soul Unity Realm cultivators have fallen in order to enter our world in the ancient world group? 10. How much stronger are you compared to them? Fortune and misfortune depend on each other. The opportunity you see may be the road to your downfall," Knight Sorrow said. Update. 8 new T is the fastest. Haha, shameless boasting. Fortune belongs to those who are virtuous. It's impossible for you all to monopolize it. Jingtian Ho laughed out loud. Looks like there's no room for negotiation. Let's fight then. There is no door to fortune or misfortune. Only man can summon it. That's right. Martial uncle, let's go back. Knight Sorrow said. Can you guys still go back? Jingtian Marquis waved his arm, and a few Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators surrounded them. I've always wanted to be reasonable. Even if it's a war, I still think it's appropriate to use peaceful means before resorting to force. But you guys, let's fight then. The energy on Knight Sorrow's body vibrated, and his doppelganger appeared. His original body faced Jingtian Marquis, while his doppelganger charged towards a Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivator. With the cultivation of the tribulation of 9 emperors, you want to fight with us with just a doppelganger? You're looking for. A subordinate of Jingtian Marquis brandished his blade and slashed towards Knight Sorrow's blood-chilling, evil-slaying spear. But before he could finish his words, something strange happened. His weapon was annihilated, his right arm was shattered, and his body was sent flying. You're the one who's looking for death. I've killed many divine soul unity realm cultivators in the ancient world. Killing you won't make a difference. Knight Sorrow growled and used void steps to catch up with the divine soul unity realm cultivator who was sent flying. He then used soul extinguishing slash and primal annihilation slash. Since he had decided to kill, Knight Sorrow wouldn't be polite. Marquis, save me. The divine soul unity realm cultivator, who had suffered a loss in one move, cried out for help because he realized that he couldn't withstand Knight Sorrow's attacks. No one can save you. Knight Sorrow snorted. Under the suppression of the soul extinguishing slash, he continued to attack with his spear. The 5th strike shattered the body of the divine soul unity realm cultivator. Following that, the great emperor-level fire of virtue started to burn the soul body of this ancient cultivator. As for Jingtian Marquis, he wanted to save someone, but was stopped by Knight Sorrow's original body. His 2 attacks were defeated by Knight Sorrow's Samsara Heavenly Halberd. When Knight Sorrow's doppelganger attacked the other divine soul unity realm cultivators, his original body stopped Jingtian Marquis. He also realized that Jingtian Marquis wasn't simple. When Jingtian Marquis brandished his longsword, it carried an extreme and evil energy. His merit Dao domain could barely suppress it. He also understood that this was the reason why King Yenwu and the Heavenly Concubine were forced to retreat. In addition, Jingtian Marquis' defense was also amazing. Knight Sorrow's Samsara Heavenly Halberd could only push him back, but couldn't injure him. In just a moment, 2 of Jingtian Marquis' subordinates were killed by Knight Sorrow. The rest ran away. Knight Sorrow's doppelganger chased after one of them. Knight Sorrow's original body and Jingtian Marquis fought in midair. The void cracks extended in all directions. King Yenwu and the Heavenly Concubine could only watch. At this time, they realized that Jingtian Marquis had only displayed part of his combat strength when fighting with them. It was because they ran fast that Jingtian Marquis couldn't catch up with them. They wouldn't be able to last long in such an intense battle. After fighting for a while, Knight Sorrow and Jingtian Marquis exchanged a blow. Relying on 1,000 Realms defense, Knight Sorrow withstood the blow. The Samsara Heavenly Halberd hit Jingtian Marquis' protective energy and sent him flying. Good, just you wait. This isn't over yet. When I come back, you'll die. Jingtian Marquis roared and began to retreat. Knight Sorrow's attack had already injured him. He didn't want to fight anymore because there was no way he could win. Jingtian Marquis ran away. Knight Sorrow naturally chased after him. Their battle was moving quickly. Jingtian Marquis was constantly injured, but he could still hold on. Damn you, Heavenly Spirit Shield. After being pushed back by Knight Sorrow's halberd again, Jingtian Marquis roared when he saw Knight Sorrow's doppelganger coming back. A shield appeared on his body. The shield then shattered. The resulting energy wrapped around him and disappeared in a flash. You'd better not appear again. If you do, I'll definitely kill you. Knight Sorrow roared. This bastard's combat strength is too strong. What we saw last time wasn't his true strength. If it's this level of combat strength, we won't be able to hold on. King Yinwu said, "It shouldn't be. If there's a chance to hurt you and the heavenly concubine, he has no reason not to." Knight Sorrow couldn't understand. He probably doesn't take us seriously. Didn't he say that he's waiting for his brother, Heavenly King Zhan? Heavenly King Zhan's strength is at least on par with him. King Yinwu said. Chapter 23:36. All of you scram. If you come to this area again, none of you will live. Knight Sorrow shouted at the escaping ancient cultivators. At this moment, the ancient cultivators were scared out of their wits. The Divine Soul Unity Realm was the strongest cultivator below the God-destroying tribulation, but Yishang had killed several of them. In their eyes, even the invincible heaven-shocking Marquis had almost been killed. In the end, he had fled in a sorry state. They were even worse off. Less than 2 hours had passed since the end of the battle. "Let's go back." Knight Sorrow nodded at King Yiwu, the heavenly concubine, and the Grand Elder. The four of them passed through the spatial tunnel and returned to the celestial realm. They went to the living area in the center of the array. "What do you think of it? Hurry up and get on the ZS." The heavenly concubine took the teapot and brewed tea. "We fought hard for dozens of years. The ancient cultivators never retreated. You came and killed them all. Yeah, if I knew this would happen, I would have let you come. Now that you are here, we don't have to suffer so much." King Yiwu said. "King Yiwu, protector, heavenly concubine, we were the ones who let Knight Sorrow return." Sect Elder Duan said with a smile. That's true. Let's drink some tea." King Yiwu said with a laugh. "If we kill a few more times, most of the ancient cultivators will be killed. Also, news of Knight Sorrow's power will probably spread. I don't think anyone will attack us anymore." The heavenly concubine thought for a moment and said, "If we kill like this, it will be hard for our name not to spread. However, I don't know what that heavenly King Zhan is. If Jingtian Marquis is so strong, he naturally won't be weak. He might even be stronger." King Yiwu looked at Knight Sorrow and said, King Yiwu, the heavenly concubine, and Sect Elder Duan all knew that Knight Sorrow's power far exceeded theirs. It could be seen from how Jingtian Marquis could kill them, and how Knight Sorrow could force Jingtian Marquis to use a secret treasure to escape. In addition, it was too easy for Knight Sorrow to kill Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators. It was a complete suppression. It was like an adult beating up a child. There was no comparison. Don't worry, he couldn't have survived the God-destroying tribulation, right? Knight Sorrow smiled. If we can survive the God-destroying tribulation, then what's the point of fighting? There's no point in holding on, Elder Duan said. Under the God-destroying divine tribulation, cultivators could be respected, saints, monarchs, and emperors, but they were still cultivators after all. However, cultivators of the divine emperor realm were gods. It was completely different. Not necessarily. Heavenly Concubine looked at Knight Sorrow and said, Not necessarily. King Yiwu laughed and repeated the Heavenly Concubine's words. They had confidence in Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow was already much stronger than the Divine Soul Unity Realm. Most importantly, Knight Sorrow had yet to break through to the Divine Soul Unity Realm. Knight Sorrow, your 1,000 worlds defense has already reached 13 worlds. If you continue, your defense will become stronger and stronger. Even if someone's cultivation is stronger than you, they might not be able to break through your defense. Heavenly Concubine looked at Knight Sorrow and said, My current research direction is to strengthen the defense of the 13 worlds. I'm not purposely developing it. Knight Sorrow said to Heavenly Concubine. After Jing Tianho was killed and fled, the group relaxed. They drank and chatted when they wanted to. Elder Duan lamented in his heart. He, King Yiwu, and Heavenly Concubine had been fighting here for dozens of years, but they couldn't do anything to the ancient cultivators. However, Knight Sorrow came and solved the problem with just one attack. The difference was too big. He still remembered the first time he met Knight Sorrow 1,000 years ago. How's the development of our 9 regions world now? Heavenly Concubine looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. She was very proud of the Nine Regions world because the Nine Regions world was strong enough. There was only development and no turbulence. Everything is very stable. The Council of Elders and the Commander-in-Chief's residence are managing the Nine Regions world well. In addition, while you were fighting here, I didn't stay idle. I explored all the worlds around the Nine Regions world. Some dangers that might appear are within our defenses, Knight Sorrow said. You've only been gone for 30 years, right? King Yawu looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. Everyone knew that the celestial realm was vast and boundless. The Nine Regions world wasn't as big as the celestial realm, but it was still very big. If they wanted to investigate the surrounding worlds, let alone 30 years, they might not be able to do so in 300 years. Disciples' flying speed in the Nine Regions world is very fast. In addition, there are two clones working together, so the efficiency is higher. Knight Sorrow smiled as he took out the original version of the territory map that Taishu Yin had returned to him and placed it on the table. King Yawu, Sect Elder Duan, and Heavenly Concubine were very shocked after looking at the territory map. The preparation work was very detailed. How many worlds are there in this densely packed place? In addition, the nearby worlds that are in good condition can be used as bases for development. King Yawu said, This disciple dug out these worlds for defense, not for invasion. If there are really forces that attack and cause misery and suffering, it won't be good. After hearing King Yawu's words, Knight Sorrow thought of some problems that he hadn't thought of before. If he took out the territory map and copied it, then some people would come into contact with it. If there were people who wanted to develop and wantonly destroy some new spatial world for resources, it would be a sin. That's true. You have to master this territory map well. Otherwise, it will be a problem. King Yawu nodded. He knew that Knight Sorrow wouldn't invade. I'll take care of it. Knight Sorrow nodded. After pondering for a while, Knight Sorrow felt that he could only start with the territory map. As for restrictions, he felt that it wasn't easy to say. You could restrict others from seeking opportunities and resources in the Nine Regions world, but you couldn't restrict others from seeking opportunities in other worlds. The exposure of some new worlds was very likely due to the territory map. Knight Sorrow had to bear the consequences of this cause and effect. Knight Sorrow's main body stayed at the entrance of the ancient world, while the Nine Regions clone went to the Commander-in-Chief's residence to convene a meeting. The sect elders people in the Nine Regions world and the Commander-in-Chief's residence gathered together. Realm Lord, do you have any orders? Taishu Yin asked. How many copies of the territory map have been copied? Knight Sorrow asked. Currently, there are 4 copies. I have one. Elder Huang Ling, Master Wu Kei, and Knight Emperor each have one, Taishu Yin said. It's better not to spread this territory map. I don't want it to become a medium for some people to invade and occupy other worlds. If our Nine Regions world doesn't want to be invaded, then the same goes for other worlds. Knight Sorrow stated the purpose of this meeting. Yes, we don't want to be invaded. Naturally, we can't become invaders. This matter must be restricted. Wu Ling Fei nodded. Restricted. This may make others think that we're meddling too much. No matter what, we can't use this territory map. Knight Sorrow said, You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.